welcome back to the Enter Tournament of Champions podcast. We are back from hiatus, kind of slightly.
We got dusted originally.
Yeah. But now we're podcast assembled.
Now we're back.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, all right. So this week, I guess, or whatever, we're talking about Avengers Endgame, and I'm really excited to talk about it. We're going to talk in depth about it. We're going to talk a lot of fucking spoilers because people can't really discuss it without spoiling it.
Yep.
So I'm Jeff. I'm joined by Colorado Kyle over there.
I don't like that at all. They'll never get it.
And the doctor is in. It's John Tired Doctor over there.
John Van Tired Doctor, yes.
Those long
retired?
butthole shifts, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like they're really riding me very hard at the doctor office. Yeah, it's terrible.
So first, Avengers Endgame impressions right off the bat. Our rating system is shit, okay, the shit, or somewhere in between. And I think it exceeds the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably need to make a new
scale.
We need to make a new upper tier ranking system.
Oh, cool. So you guys agree? Yeah, we all agree on that.
Yes.
We're just doing quick non-spoilers first and saying that we all loved it. It sounds like we're all on the same page on this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Hard 7 for me. Yeah. Hard 7.
Hard 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say it was better than Iron Man, Kyle?
Well, as the resident Iron Man hater, obviously.
Right, of course.
No, it's actually worse than Iron Man. So
okay, all right.
Iron Man 2 is better than this movie. This movie is very whelming.
Or I need my bird.
I need my bird.
Need my bird.
Could have used more Mickey work, unnecessary method acting.
Yeah. Right.
No, it's great, man, and we're not going to obviously talk about specifics in regards to the plot, other than it's a lot. There's a lot going on. A lot happens in it.
Yeah.
And I kept up with it just fine. If you couldn't, sorry about your brain, bro. It's a real shame.
Yeah. This movie will leave you behind.
Yeah. Wait, but I wasn't ready to go with the. Oh,
yeah.
Man,
I don't want this
focused
movie to
on the
go
one
here.
thing.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not expecting like a Last Jedi polarization on this movie. It seems to be unanimous so far. And we're at the time where this recording, it's a Saturday. So far, it's pretty unanimous that people.
It's gonna break $1 billion over the weekend. So
yeah. Insane.
With good reason. I mean, I already watched it twice. I didn't pay for one of them, but I did watch it twice.
Pirate.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that at all. How dare you? How dare you out me like that on a fucking podcast? I did not do that. And I'm just kidding about the not paying for it. I totally paid for it. And
let the records know.
Totally paid for it. Just kidding.
And honestly, like the first time I watched it, I was like, I had so many lingering questions because there's conceptually some stuff that it deals with that requires you to ask questions and think on your toes a little bit as the movie progresses. And the second time, those questions were cleared right the fuck up. So I'm good. I'm good on this movie. Yeah, I don't really have any cons. So. Pros are it's awesome, and it's 21 movies of payoff, and there's payoff within the movie itself,
Yeah.
So that's whatever. I don't know if y'all have stuff to add that's not spoilery.
Yeah, it's definitely a conclusion. It definitely feels like an end of something, whereas all the other movies always felt like, cool, this is building towards something.
Right. And it's not a spoiler to say there's no post-credit scene, so that tells you the finality of the movie.
Be brave. Get up and leave. It's okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, everybody was looking at me
everybody
like,
else
what
didn't.
The fuck
Everyone's just
doing?
like, this guy's an amateur. And I'm like, no, I read the articles. None of them.
These guys are casuals, but know enough about these movies to stay for the end credits, and they had to have been sorely like.
Have fun waiting for 20 fucking minutes for nothing. So
yeah, exactly. Because it ends like 2 hours 53 minutes or some shit like that. So I mean, you have 10 minutes of credits to sit through.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Have fun. Yeah,
fuck, that's funny. It's just funny to me. I'm sorry, I don't know why. Just like a 3/4 of the theater that I was in, just staying behind and going, "Motherfucker!" I'm like, it makes me happy.
Yeah, I had about 0 people get up and use the restroom too, so everyone can stop talking about that also.
Yeah, there was a lot of foot. Yes, there was a lot of foot traffic in mine, and
and yours really? I had 0. Yeah,
somebody
there was
got up immediately as the movie started, and let's just go right into spoilers. Spoiler.
We were walking right in. The movie was good. We didn't hate it. Okay, spoiler time.
There we go. So, Hawkeye's family gets dusted in the opening, and some motherfucker gets up like.
He comes back. He's like, "Why is Hawkeye so mean all of a sudden? God,
why is he brutally killing people?" I'm like, you're
what
an
a
idiot. Movie
dumbass.
literally just started and he's running out. I'm like,
He's
my
like, oh,
God.
dude, I had to watch that Godzilla trailer, bro. Like, fuck.
I did
Can't
see
beat
a
her
Rise
in that.
of Skywalker trailer, but so I appreciate that. But 20 minutes of trailers is just
by the
fucking
way,
stupid.
not a peep from anybody from that Star Wars trailer at all, and people cheered at almost all the other trailers. So I'm like, oh great, okay. People are still people are still sore about Star Wars, I guess.
Yeah. Fuckers. I'm still really excited for it. But okay, so it opens with that's a great open, by the way, because it's like telling you it's exactly what you thought happened. So
correct.
There you go. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone thought happened. And it's like, well, I guess Clint's family died. It's exactly what happened.
The trailers tell you, they kind of hint towards it that's what happened. That's why he's so.
But even it says like some of us lost families, and it shows him. It's like, oh, I guess he lost his family.
Yeah,
kind of hands it to you. So.
And there's like a random joke in it that really worked for me the second time I saw it. I didn't even like catch it the first time, where his wife is like, "You want mayo or mustard on your hot dog?" And
he's like, "Who puts mayo on a hot dog?"
Mayo on a hot dog.
Yeah.
And even the son is like, "Do you got ketchup?" That was just a good moment of, I don't know, back and forth between the family. Obviously, they're a unit or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can see in the background, and I love that the dust isn't obvious unless you're looking for it.
It's still very.
I didn't
much
see it
there,
at first, and then especially with the daughter, and I was like, "Oh, there it was." Ooh.
Yeah, and you could see it like kind of floating, very barely in the background when he's looking for his wife and son. That's a great open, dude. That's bold. That's
and it sets. It's just like, yeah, this movie's gonna fuck you up. Like that's like it really just sets the mood immediately, and I was just like, oh boy. I got to strap my emotions in here.
And it also kind of could allude to, the daughter picking up the mantle, I guess, if Hawkeye truly stays retired or whatever.
Yeah, well, he did.
She's training.
When she hit the bullseye, he hit her. Training. He called her with the. He's like, "All right, Hawkeye." Like,
that'd be cool.
All right, good job, Hawkeye. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Future MCU movie star.
We're definitely gonna have a female Hawkeye. Like that type of thing.
Yep, female Avengers is coming soon, and this movie gives a nod to it, I think.
That's fine, and that's fine.
That's fine. It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay, people.
Guys.
I think I'll
It'll
survive
be okay.
that one.
I just really wish more.
I've seen some really weak men get really terrified by stuff like that. So it's been a very fun couple days for that. So.
It really has. And you know what? And everybody's shitting about that, but nobody's flipping out about a different reveal, which I guess we'll talk about later because it's at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So the movie immediately picks up right where kind of right where it left off. Cap shaved, so there was some time that passed, like 30 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of time. Yeah.
They're back at the Avengers compound.
Boy, I need a shave. I got all that dust in my beard.
This is very urgent.
I get it, man. You don't want all that dust in there. Yeah,
for sure.
Right. I guess it's just because he's home. That's his first time back at the Avengers facility, so he's like, might as well clean myself off.
Right.
Anyway, so it picks back up where they leave off, and actually, no, I'm sorry, I skipped the really some of the greatest parts of the movie is like the slow character moments, and really it went right to Tony Stark and Nebula.
That's right.
Right
in space, yeah.
Yeah, and they're just having good moments of like, I don't know, just good back and forth and stuff. And
I loved the football game.
Yeah.
Like Nebula freaking out the first time he flicked it at her.
No, don't gotta do that. Just gotta hold position.
Don't gotta do that. Hold position. It's fine.
I would like to go again.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was a really fun. Nebula just jives with everybody. I have no idea how they pulled that off because she's such a robotic character or whatever.
Rough. Yeah.
And she did start rough. Yeah, and then by this time she's playing finger football with like Tony Stark, and it's such a sweet moment
and helping him in his chair.
Helping him in his chair is so sweet. Oh my god! Yeah. I was just like, dude, are we gonna start with him dying and we have to go back in time and save him?
I know. But he's definitely. I don't know how much of that was CG. Obviously, you never know how much is CG in these movies because there's so much of it. But he was definitely like Downey was like emaciated in this scene in the very beginning.
He was very skinny. I think some of it was CG for sure.
Yeah. And like she was refusing food to the point where she was refusing food and like.
Oh, I love that scene so much where he hands it to her and she's like, "No, you need it." And there's so many really sweet moments. And then her coming down and her and Rocket holding hands, and I was just like, this movie fucked me up in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it really did.
They realized like, oh shit, we both lost everybody.
Everybody. Like you're the only person that walked off that ship. And then and of course she's like, and you're the only person that's down here. It's just like, I don't know. There's a lot of really sweet moments in this movie that
that's true.
They
didn't know.
I was a grown 32-year-old man trying not to cry in front of all these people in the theater, and it did not work. It did not work. There wasn't a single time I was able to stop it. So
yeah, and I'm wearing 3D glasses. I'm like, this is fucking awkward.
Yeah, I'm rubbing my eyes because the 3D glasses bother them, not because I'm crying.
Yeah, I mean, fuck the fog on it, man. That's just these things are flawed.
Yeah.
I can't see the 3D effect because of my tears. So they have tender moments and shit, and the score is really depressing, perfectly depressing for those moments. Yeah. And then Captain Marvel shows up, and I'm wondering, I have to assume this is after she responds to the pager, and they're like, hey, we don't know if there's others out there.
Right.
And so she goes back up to get them. Because we didn't get that pager scene again.
Where she comes back and says, "Where's Fury?"
Yeah,
right.
No.
So I assume they're like, "Can you go down in space maybe and check?" Because there were some people that left.
You can afford to cut that scene out of your 3-hour movie and just assume everybody's seen it.
Or maybe she found them on the way to Earth for the first time. Maybe that scene just didn't go exactly.
That's a good point.
They
they do that sometimes with post-credit scene, like that scene where Dr. Selvig gets the Tesseract from Fury and Loki is apparently already mind controlling him. And you're like, well, the timing of that doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, right.
Because he doesn't do that until later when he has a staff. But all right, whatever. It's just whatever. It's just a hint.
Yeah, sometimes they kind of, they not retcon, but we're going to reshoot that. We're going to reimagine that a little bit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what I think it is. I don't think she came back and they're like, hey, can you go save our derelict friends out? And she's like, oh, okay. I know exactly where they are. I think it was totally happenstance and luck. And this movie it's filled with that, like a rat walking over a computer thing, so Scott Lang can get out. Yeah. This movie is filled with unpredictable pieces of fortune and luck and stuff like that.
You're right.
That feeds into Doctor Strange's 14 in a million thing.
I mean,
you're like, man, this is so 14 in a million that a rat would walk across that computer screen, that she would find Tony Stark and Nebula floating through space. That all these things happen, but it had to happen this way.
Yeah,
and I think that's a lot of the genius of this movie.
And that's also true to the life in these comic books too, how these people get their powers. Peter Parker was the one that happened to get bit by that spider, and shit like that.
There's a whole classroom full of people down there, but he was the one that got bit.
Exactly.
It's all luck, and it's all.
But yeah, Doctor Strange obviously had that foresight, and so did the Ancient One. She wasn't afraid to use that stone either.
Yeah.
We find that out later.
That was one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Dude,
was the
me too.
One,
me too. That was very reminiscent of Doctor Strange.
Dr. Hulk. Yeah. The Ancient One, Dr. Hulk scene where she's explaining the time branches, because
I think that's good.
I think that's Disney Plus, man. I think everything she was explaining there is what we're getting on these Disney Plus shows. It's
yeah, I agree.
I think Loki's show for sure, where he's running amok with the Tesseract. We're 100%.
Yeah, dude.
That's the show.
That's the show. That I was like, oh, cool. That's how he's coming back.
Yeah, that's the show.
Loki
exactly.
Mischief. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Oh, dude, I'm so all about it. And he's super powered because he has that thing. Go. I'm fucking so stoked.
I'm into it. I'm really into it.
The Wanda Vision, I still don't understand, because now they're saying it takes place in the 50s. I'm like, okay, so it doesn't connect at all to...
Yeah, it sounds totally separate.
Yeah, that sounds like some completely opposite of what's going on right now.
I wonder, too, though, because they had a connection to the Mind Stone together, if their dusting experience, or if hers was different. Maybe she went back to a different time. I don't know. They never address it.
I don't either. Yeah,
Peter addresses it, what happened to him, but... we never have a...
Well, it seems like they didn't experience anything when they got dusted. I think I remember being turned to dust, and then a second later I was back, and you were gone.
You saw the background, right? When their portals were open.
They were on Titan.
They were still on Titan, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone came back where they died, because all of Wakanda came from Wakanda.
Right, they came from Wakanda. Everybody that died there came back from there, yeah.
I assume the person that took the longest to come back was Valkyrie, because she had to find her Pegasus.
Right. That was,
wait,
right.
I wonder if her Pegasus
somewhere got dusted.
Because she didn't fucking have one at all anywhere in
buried
Ragnarok,
under a bunch of bottles of vodka.
She didn't. Yeah, I wonder. She's like, I wonder where I parked that thing. Yeah, I wonder. It's yeah. I didn't realize that she never we only saw it in the flashbacks.
Yeah,
in Ragnarok.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's still a badass moment, and
it was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so much about that last hour was awesome. But anyway, back to we're doing flashbacks forth. What's Tarantino it? When they reunite back on the Avengers facility, and they totally Last Jedi us in the opening of the movie. They give us everything you think you want, You know what I mean? In terms of Thanos getting his, but the catch is the stones are all gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the equivalent of Last Jedi. Like Thanos getting beheaded and the stones being gone is like the equivalent of like Luke tossing the lightsaber, in my opinion. Well, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, it absolutely was, and I think this one will land a lot better than the lightsaber tossing. I think. Oh, also,
absolutely.
But,
yeah. You guys ruined the Thanos that I've had in my head for the last year.
The first act. Yeah, he comes back and he's kind of cooler because I like, and not to go forward again, but for a Thanos to be like so understanding that in a completely different timeline he won, and he's just like, cool, I want to make sure that happens. Like he's so mentally stable that none of this is even phasing him. You know, that like these people from the future are coming back to like thwart his plans or whatever. Yeah, because I feel like absolutely that he feels like he even says that he's inevitable or whatever when he destroys. Like
what
I'm
an arrogant fuck he is in this.
I know, but it's it makes for such a good bad guy. It makes for such a good bad guy. Yeah.
So well, and
he's a different beast in this one.
And, he is. He's a different character.
And in Infinity War, it was a mission. It was a mission based, like it was not a vendetta. This one, it's a vendetta, but in Infinity War. It was a mission where like it's don't take it personal. It's just half of the population. Like he wiped out half of Thor's people. Every time he would visit a place, he'd be wiping out half of whatever it is, and he wouldn't kill anybody unless they got explicitly in his way between him and a stone. So it was never like a personal thing. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like
if it
I snap my fingers.
The Avengers are just the ones that kind of put up the biggest like fight or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are annoying. Ugh.
Like Loki, Vision, and Gamora were literally in the way of his stones. That's the only reason they died in that movie.
Right.
And so like it wasn't like a personal thing for him. He was like a general with orders in his mind, but they were his orders. And in this one, it's more like he's seen everything that's already happened. So now it's like, well, they think they can just fucking kill me. Like, it's more like a vendetta. Like
I like that. Yeah.
This is where the I'm gonna enjoy this line comes from. Is from this.
Right. Yeah, at the very end, where he's just like, I've gone to a lot of planets, but like this is gonna be the one that I'm.
Well, and especially because he went out of his way to say like, I take no pleasure in this in Infinity War. Like, so it's
just very different. He's out. Yeah. He's out for.
He doesn't even kill Stark. There is a war trade there. Like Strange gave Thanos the Time Stone, and he's like, cool, we'll start. Yeah, I'll keep my word. I'll see you bitches later. And
same thing with Thor. Like
doesn't kill anybody on that planet. Yeah. He after they almost thwarted his plan, he still just kind of gets up and leaves.
Right. Yeah, I gotta go.
He's not trying to like he knows once he gets everything that like all these deaths will be sorted out. Like it's just like I don't need to get my hands dirty, pretty much. So it's just that we're in this movie, he's murking a lot of people.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. And he fights differently, too. Like, he's fighting very offensively because in the first one, the stones help, too. But, like, in the first one, he's mostly just doing defensive moves. In Infinity War, he's just like, no, stop that. You know what I mean?
He has to really give it his all because they were giving it their all whenever he had the stones, and they kind of still put up some barriers. Now he has no stones, and he's fighting the galaxy's greatest warriors or whatever, and he's having to really bring it to him, and he fucking does.
Yeah. Fortunately, he never had to fight literally all of them at once. He had the luxury. I guess you can't really call it luxury because he did get in jeopardy at least like 2 times that I could think of. Right. He's like rain fire when Scarlet Witch showed up.
Oh, dude, Scarlet Witch fucked his world up.
Dude. I remember people getting real giddy when she showed up, too. And when was the last time you were like, I'm really giddy about Scarlet Witch showing up?
Never. Maybe in Infinity War, whenever they're like... But I was more annoyed at that point where she was like, what was she doing up there the entire time? I'm like,
I love that
I like that part, but I'm like, what the fuck was she doing up there? How much help is she standing next to...
Right.
Like Vision?
They're literally just waiting for her to be like, I've had enough of this and leave anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking leave. They're waiting right behind you. And you don't know it, so whatever. That's funny to think about. But there's a lot of parallels to that Infinity War, but also the first Avengers, which we'll get to. But I love that and then the 5 years later thing, and especially how long that title card lingered. Because people were not really expecting that.
I did not think it was going to be 5 years.
I thought it would be like 6
2 months. Yeah.
Maybe.
I didn't
6 months. I was on the 6 months train.
6 months or so. Yeah. So that means that like the world has pretty much moved. It's 5 years. Like how long does it take to get over something like that? I have no idea, but like 5 years, you're kind of in a new pattern or in a new mode, if you will.
Right.
So like people are kind of settled, and you can see that with Iron Man. Like he has a whole new life. Like he's got a kid now. And
I didn't mean to skip over some of the best parts in the movie. One of the best parts in the movie was Iron Man or Tony talking to Cap and them hashing.
I love that
shit that
build over, or it carries over from the baggage that they bring from Civil War, which I thought was really bold. Like even this event didn't unite them; it separated them more. you know? And I like that. I think that it continues those stakes
and
that Civil War.
The Ultron dialogue was
there were
totally
stakes in that movie
too.
There were stakes in Civil War, JD. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
And also there were stakes in that movie. Everybody shits on a lot. Ultron. Hey guys, that movie has stakes, and it directly applies to what led to Civil War, and Civil War directly applies to why they fucking lost and had to do anything in Endgame.
It's almost like they had a plan.
There's a pattern. There's a pattern of events that happen that that continues to carry over. There are a lot of arcs that carried over from the very beginning of these movies that were paid off in this one, and that's the best. And again, as you said earlier at the top, Jeff, it still had the audacity to have its own story and its own arcs and its own things going on as well. It wasn't just completing things that were already there. It was creating new things and wrapping that up as well.
Yeah,
really
seeing
crazy.
Tony's fire, even in his emaciated state, more or less, dude, that was some top-notch fucking acting right there, man. I felt that.
Man, come on, he's so great.
Yeah.
I know why he craves that Oscar that he's always craved or whatever. But man, you're appreciated fine just here, man. We notice you. Yeah, you're acting your face off in the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And so back to the 5 years later. So I like that it wasn't just 5 years later, okay, so what are we going to do? Ant-Man shows up. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was you got to see how everybody acclimated to this life post-snap. You know? Steve Rogers helping in the only way that he's really capable of, because once the bad guys win, he can't fight anymore.
Just trying to give hope to anybody he can.
Exactly.
But he can't even give it to himself, though. Yeah, but he can't. He doesn't take his own advice. He's just kind of spewing this this script out, if you will, that hopefully the other people follow, but he doesn't follow it himself. It's kind of crazy, to see him sitting there in a, I don't know, not an AA meeting, but a stress counseling meeting or a grief counseling meeting or something like that. So it's just it's kind of interesting to see that that's kind of what he's doing with his time. Mm-hmm. Whereas Scarlet Witch, on the other hand, is
Black Widow.
Never let the mission die. 5 years later, living it still, still in the trenches, still in contact with all the people who are out in the galaxy, kind of figuring out what's going on out there.
Right, trying to find Hawkeye.
Trying to find Hawkeye, or Clint. War Machine's out there trying to help her, so it's just there's some people who just didn't let go, and the Scarlet Witch being a major one of them, and that kind of builds up to her her amazing arc during this whole movie. Which she acts her face off as well.
The entire movie, dude.
We don't get to see a lot of that. Her, Scarlett Johansson really just letting it go, and this movie they let her have a field day or playground with emotions in this one. So
yeah, dude. Yeah, her that entire thing of them meeting via hologram, I guess. And it's more or less she's running S.H.I.E.L.D. She's running the show. It's not just she's running the Avengers. They're S.H.I.E.L.D. now, more or less, because
they were talking about cartels.
There's no agents to do this for them. Exactly. They're spread out over the world, not just doing let's do a recon or a cleanup or whatever. They're trying to make sure people don't tear apart cities. That and they're still doing this 5 years later. So that's how things.
You see the ballpark still has crashed cars in the parking lot, and there's no baseball being played, which say what you want about the sport, but I'm sorry, if America ever loses its love for baseball, that shit's pretty bad.
People don't love baseball, JD. I'm sorry.
It's America's sport, okay?
No, I like more is watching
it's
paint
still America's
dry.
sport.
Is there a watching paint dry stadium?
Hey, but you love baseball movies, so
I do. That's because they add drama to it.
There's something there. I'm just saying.
Those innings go very fast in those
thing.
movies, JD.
Yeah, they really do.
Right.
A
move quicksand in real life.
A no-hitter in a Kevin Costner movie is 20 minutes long.
I'm not here to bash on JD's love for baseball, okay?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, y'all.
I set myself up for it, so whatever. It's not as good as hockey, though. Let me tell you about hockey.
Fucking hockey.
Okay, what are you Canadian?
God,
What's going on
we're
here?
full-blown Canadian now.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Speaking of Canadian, when Wolverine shows up in this movie.
Oh my God, let me tell you.
Hey, spoilers, man. Major
when
spoilers.
he beheads Thanos at the end, I did not see that coming.
I got you, bub. I always go for the head, bub. That's what he says. You know?
I am inevitable. He's like, I am violent, and then he just beheads him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
am
that's
Logan.
A good line. That's a good Wolverine line. Yeah, I am violent, and you just like fucking slice.
Or he
that's
just
how
goes,
that's how Thanos gets his like face slashes. You know, he has those like face slashes on his face. It's Wolverine.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's top-notch acting from Johansson in this. In that scene, especially when she's being told about Barton, and she's clearly not have that. She's not. I don't think she's had that conversation often with Don Cheadle, War Machine, whatever his name is, Rhodey.
Yep.
Rhodey.
Yeah.
Because it was clear, like, he was dreading the conversation because Okoye goes, good luck. Like, clearly he's told everybody else what's going on, with exception of her.
Right.
Because he doesn't want, to stir up, the drama or whatever. Yeah, that's some, goddamn, dude, that's some top-notch shit right there. And especially because she feels helpless, like, she can't predict where he's going to go. And I love when we get to that scene where she does finally reach out to Clint. This is after Ant-Man comes out. That his justification for doing it, like, it's not like I fully agree with it because murder's bad, guys. But like the whole exchange that he had with the dude from
when he
Westworld
says that,
or whatever,
he's pretty much Yu-Gi-Oh from Last Samurai. You mean?
Yeah, that guy. Sorry. My bad. Correction. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, but
But more importantly. But yeah, when he's like, Thanos took everybody except for you guys,
Yeah, you guys got to live while my family was good and they got dusted. And he's just like, you guys are pieces of shit, and I hate you for it.
And then when he all he had to do was just gesture around, like, he's like, I'm not going to let you hurt any more people, and he goes, me hurt people, and he just gestures around like you see all the corpses.
You're doing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he raises a good point, but like at the same time, fuck this guy, he's a criminal, I guess, So it's
that sword fight was
of
cool
gray,
too. It was very short, but I love a good sword fight.
Oh, and the way they shot that too was I don't want to say it was one shot because I don't think it was. I think there were some edits, but it was just the camera work was just much cleaner for that fight.
It was good, yeah.
It felt grounded, and I could say that for most of the action in this movie because a lot of people like to complain about the edits in Marvel movie action scenes, but in this one I can't really point any one of those out. I think it's just because the emotional moments were so heavy in this movie.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Maybe the action just kind of took a back seat. I totally forgot to look at it.
There wasn't a lot. It's not like there wasn't wall action. There was a lot of, and it still felt like a brisk 3 hours.
It did.
It came right by.
The fight scenes
and you think about it, you're like, there's like maybe 5 or 6 fight scenes in the movie. There's not, there's not a shit ton, so.
But yeah, I love Ant-Man coming out, and I love him traversing the city by foot.
Another person acting their ass off in this movie visually. How he's just being crushed.
His daughter
and
grown
freaking
up
out about not that too, but as he's like freaking out trying to look for his daughter's name on there, and then sees his name. It's just there's a lot of visual acting going on, like in his eyes and jaw dropping and stuff like that. He sells it, and seeing his daughter. There's a lot of crushing moments in this movie.
Crazy, man.
And that's a nice
almost old enough to be an Avenger herself. Like, if she decides to.
Or a sidekick. The sidekick that she joked about in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I could be your sidekick.
I don't know.
Right.
So.
She could now, that's true.
Yeah.
But we don't know what she's capable of. She could be totally like a shit person or whatever.
Right. Maybe she's
he was gone.
Mom,
How disappointing would that be? She's like got like a nose ring and shit.
I do
like
meth now, and I'm in a goth phase. Not that all goths do meth, but in this scenario,
in the MCU,
it would have been funny if she wasn't normal.
Dust survivors definitely do meth.
Yeah. That's what the cloud is above all the cities. It's not smog.
Exactly.
It's meth.
Yeah, exactly. It's all meth.
It's
I like all of Ant-Man. Ant-Man in general in this whole movie was great.
Yeah,
he had a lot of. I love how he kept on trying to convince everybody that all of his time travel theories were not based off of movies.
Right,
but he kept citing like movie examples.
Exactly. Yeah. No, not like from Back to the Future. But he's talking exactly about that.
You talking about Time Machine? No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And his logic, how he got there, makes sense. But it's funny. It's. I like the trying to work out like the details when he doesn't know the subject that well.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
his brain
the only
can get
people
there,
that do are gone. That know it as he knows it anyway. That understand the quantum realm.
Yeah, exactly. Like Hank Pym would be like, "Gotcha, bro."
Yeah, and he would be able to explain 82. It in a way that Tony Stark would, actually, I guess, trust it.
I could have taken a Hank Pym, smart enough to someone that's like, guess you guys wish you would have had me or something,
right?
I liked his 70s or whatever the fuck that was.
Young looking Michael Douglas's.
Yeah, with long hair. Yeah, good for him.
That Ant-Man helmet.
Yeah, that Ant-Man helmet was a nice homage to the OG Ant-Man.
Very old.
That was cool.
Yeah, very old school. Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, dude. I loved how they got there. I liked feeling Robert Downey Jr. or Tony Stark's arc in this is defined as Black Widow's too.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a family now, and
why do I even have to do this? Like I like my life.
Exactly.
I got my second.
He's saying that if we tried this, there's a cost now for him. It's like, I could actually lose everything. So I'm not going to help when what I have here is more valuable than. The risk,
whatever you got going on here. But I like the change is when he sees the picture of Spider-Man, he's just like, because he feels like he failed Peter, and even I was just watching Infinity War.
That was his first words to Cap, where I lost a kid.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But even in Infinity War, when Peter Parker goes, well, really, and he's being kind of snarky. He's like, really, it's your fault that I'm here, and he gets visibly angry, because he knows it's his fault, kind of, and then ends up losing him. And it's this very guilt and heavy thing that he's carrying with him the entire movie, and it's real to me. They've totally sold it to me. And that change where all of this changes because I need to get the kid back or whatever. I totally believe it.
I think him looking at the picture was more like why not just fuck around and see what I can come up with type of thing, because he got there pretty quick. Maybe we should have seen a little more footage of that.
It seemed like he was always playing with the idea over the years. I think they even dropped a line in the movie where he was just like, of course I thought about this before, but it doesn't work.
That's
and maybe new information brought maybe he didn't ever think about bringing quantum whatever into his ideas, and now that fixed the that solved the riddle or whatever. Because I like this whenever it completes and he kind of sits back and he's in awe. He's like, holy shit!
Dude,
and the whole shit exchange.
Holy shit! Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? Really hey, what are you doing? Well, I got some serious shit going on here. Yeah. I love that.
That was great.
And. There's another part too. There's always nuggets that are spread out in the dialogue that you really just got to catch and be like, oh, they alluded to that earlier in the movie. When he's his daughter's wearing Pepper's mask that she later wears.
Yeah, your mom never puts on anything I wear.
Yeah, exactly.
Never wears anything I buy her.
You in the dialogue, hey, I got this as an anniversary present for your mom, but she never wears anything I get her.
Yeah.
And I think that when Pepper realized, the rest of the world did, and sounds like Captain Marvel did too, whatever planet she was on, that once everybody was snapped back into existence, that they were like, oh, I gotta fucking fight now. You know what I mean?
Right,
so I think that can also explain, for a lot of people that were like, how did Captain Marvel know how to show up or whatever? That can explain a lot,
It can explain that way easily as well. I just noticed that 50% of the people showed up, so maybe I'll go check on Earth. But also, remember in the beginning of the movie, Rocket says that a cosmic energy event happened so big on Earth that no one's ever felt. She would feel that. She's made of cosmic energy, so she would feel that and go, oh shit, it happened again, and go over there. And that's at least what
I agree. I agree.
It doesn't. I don't know. People are dwelling on that. Just move on.
Yeah. The main questions that I had were pertaining to time travel logic in the movie, but then the second time I watched it,
but the second that anybody does time travel, there's going to be just some fuckery. You're just gonna have to let some things go because The idea of time travel is just tricky in general, and it's always tricky to pull off with all the rules that you even address yourself intact. But they do a pretty good job, I would say.
Yeah, they put their foot down really early on. Once they assembled the team and everything, they put their foot down really early on about, you can't go back and change anything. That's not how this works. That's not this type of movie, more or less, is what they say. Because they cite so many movies.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no, you can't do that. It's just literally everything that's happened has happened, and that's it. It's kind of like Terminator logic a little bit, I guess. Except they did change things in Genesis. Fucking piece of shit movie.
So glad I didn't see that one because I don't know what you're talking about.
Very glad
But Terminator logic was kind of like Judgment Day was like, it was self-fulfilling and stuff like that. You know, it was kind of like no matter what you did, it ended up setting into motion what you were trying to avoid anyway.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you know, with the exception of the stones, obviously the stones are the exception because you can bend all the normal rules of time and space with that. And I love that Ancient One goes further into explanation about like the rules of time travel in terms of whenever you take the stones away, that's when alternate timelines exist. And when you replace them at the moment they were taken, everything's fine. The timelines don't exist anymore. The separate timelines don't exist anymore.
Right.
I love that was explained.
So that explains to me for my hesitations about like stuff with Cap later. That kind of explains to me like maybe issues that I had with that because of what you just said.
Yeah,
you literally just explained to me the issues of what I had about Cap, and I don't have an issue with that now.
Oh, okay. I don't have an issue with the Cap thing. I just have questions on it.
I have maybe still a few questions, but as you just said, like once everything was set back, like to the original timeline, that means none of the other timelines exist. So he would have to live out his days, and I guess there'd be two Caps in that timeline, though.
Yeah.
Well, but the original one's under the ice.
Well, also the original one.
He's just like leave him. America. He's like let's leave him down there because I'm Cap now.
Right. So basically, he's not Cap anymore. He's Steve Rogers spending his life with Peggy Carter, and the actual Cap is getting unfrozen, becoming an Avenger, leading the Avengers, doing all that shit.
Okay, I got you.
So nothing really breaks there. It's just Peggy Carter spends her life with him, more or less.
Yeah, right. Her life changes, yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess when she's dying, she has to pretend he doesn't exist or whatever. But she had dementia by that point when he reunited with her in.
Well, no, that works because she said that she was married. Remember, like I'm married to blah blah blah. Like she was married to Steve Rogers, I guess.
Yeah, but she couldn't remember. You know what I mean? Sure, her mind was going,
right.
So
but it's so funny that they kind of plant that seed, like in a previous movie, that she was married and was happy, but like with him. You know? I didn't even think about that. You're kind of blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's too early for this.
I think they always knew the Cap ending and the Tony ending and stuff. Because, it's a clever seed to plant in there. I can't speak to the TV show. It sounds like that's like an alternate timeline type fucking TV show now. The Peggy Carter TV show. Because, that's after Cap came back. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, that's true.
Let's pretend the show didn't happen, basically.
But the show happened in a way that Jarvis is there, so... Yeah,
exactly. He still exists as a person.
You got me there on the show, but the show's never mattered anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
That's so crazy that like she was married, and she even says that she was married.
Yeah.
And she was married to Steve
But it's
Rogers.
just the clever way that they wrote it, like, oh, she has dementia, so she can't really remember all the details or whatever.
Yeah,
she can't remember reuniting with Steve or not. So that's just an easy way to kind of let it slide. That's just I love that.
A lot, yeah.
Ah, shit. I'm losing my place here, but reuniting with Thor. A fat Thor.
Oh my god! My favorite
thing.
Thor.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is him playing video games with Korg. Like, hey, did you get plugged into the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
You do that?
I like
it's
you know how hard it is to burp when you're talking and you're acting.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I just hope you're here for the cable or whatever. Like he's like lets out a burp and it just lets it slide and it's just totally natural for him. Like, god damn it, Chris Hemsworth.
Very
funny.
Rick from Rick and Morty,
I was so worried in Infinity War. He had some... Sorry, I hit the mic. But he had some, serious tendencies in Infinity War. Because he meant business.
Yeah, right.
But, without a purpose... Because killing Thanos was his purpose, more or less, even after the snap.
Right.
And he did it. So what the fuck else are you going to do for 5 years of your life?
Well, and it didn't accomplish anything, so it was too late. So
I gather, like everybody else did, there was no point in trying to do anything.
And he didn't know that anybody else was alive at the time, I don't think, either, because I gather that Valkyrie shows up at some point with, like, the other half of Asgard that she's been protecting this entire time, which makes sense why she becomes queen, because, she spent all that time leading them to Earth and building new Asgard and all that stuff.
Yeah, because he's the one that's floating out in space and Guardians run into him. They don't run into her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Damn, they should have done more throwaway lines for that.
Yeah, they should have. But you could pick it. Like this. It's inferred, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's basically given up because why the fuck wouldn't you when it feels like there's no hope? You don't know that Ant-Man is stuck in a quantum realm. You don't know that. You know what I mean? We know that, but you don't know. Like, they don't know that. You know what I mean? So people are a little too hard on Thor's quote-unquote transformation it's ridiculous. Like I remember reading on Reddit and shit, and in some Facebook comments, not all of them, are just kind of shitting on that a little bit. Like, oh, Thor would be more driven, and I'm kind of like, nah, you wouldn't, because he killed.
He's done, lost everything.
Right. And I think he spent 5 years blaming himself, like putting all the weight on himself. Like it's just like I don't know. It's and
like,
he's been on a journey of losing everything. All of these movies,
and Thanos rubbed it into him like you should have aimed for the head.
Right, dude, you fucked up, man.
If he had just aimed differently, none of that would have ever happened.
Right. And it haunts him, and it haunts him so much he cuts his head. That's how he murks him at the beginning.
What did you do? I aimed for the head.
As soon as they were like, "Oh, the stones are gone," he was like, "Well, I'm cutting this guy's head off."
Yeah, fuck this guy. Guess he's useless to us.
Yeah, he's fucking pointless.
He even brings that up in the house. Fat Thor. He's just like, "I killed him. None of you guys did.
None of you guys did. I did.
Yeah, I did it. Which
that's his only accomplishment is like killing Thanos, even though it's like way later.
It's the only thing he's like holding on to.
Exactly.
And that's how he can create this facade of happiless. It really worked for me, Fat Thor. And if people aren't on board with that, just get off board.
And the fact that he was, I know that Chris Hemsworth wasn't fat, obviously, because they filmed this in succession with Infinity War. But I liked the fact that they, as an overweight person, I think JD, you can identify with this as well. I'm not.
Are you calling me fat?
I'm not trying to call you fat. Don't get sensitive.
You'd be 100% correct.
I'm bigger than you, so calm down. But there's. Calm down with that. But
would have way off, bro.
There's something, I don't know, satisfying about seeing a fat hero, and especially see him lined up with Cap and Iron Man at the end fighting Thanos together. Yeah. And he's got two weapons, and I'm like, oh, fat people can do this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It felt cool. Because it's when the fuck ever else are we going to get a fat superhero? That's
never.
You know what I mean? Unless their superpower is getting fat and shrinking, which is like the Blob or whatever. In X-Men, that exists.
He does that. Yeah.
But like, when the fuck else ever are we going to see like a fat superhero do shit like that?
Right.
I guess Deadpool 2 had that one kid too, but he started as a villain anyway, so whatever. You get my point. The point stands. They all have abs.
Yeah, it was just good to feel represented. That's all.
Yeah,
just very good.
He was just, he was funny, and there was a lot of jokes at his expense.
Yeah.
I like him walking around with like sunglasses on,
he's
snoring, just being obnoxious.
Like, hey, we got beer on the ship.
Yeah, that's all it took. He's petty now, Like it's almost like he reverted back to Thor, like from Thor 1,
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of like a self-absorbed kind of like dude, bro, and I like that. It's another parallel to like his art, his very Rocky arc, I would say.
But with his sadness and not his arrogance.
Exactly, yeah. But I think he creates the arrogance and the obnoxiousness through the sadness to cope with the sadness,
Yeah,
he's hiding behind his old like juvenile self, And then again, his arc has been very Rocky, all three of his movies or whatever. Like he just really kind of found his character in the last kind of couple movies, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So like, but it's still like it's kind of cool that they would call back to the thing that wasn't really working. It's like, I remember he was kind of like that, and like here he is again, and it worked this time. It worked for me at least.
Yeah,
like,
same here.
Him acting
I was going to say, I think there's a metaphor involved whenever they turn to Thor to talk about the ether, and he's asleep. So
yeah.
I think that's a metaphor for the movie.
Yeah, or when he just drones on and on, like when he drones on, and everyone's just like, okay, we get it. Like, just sit down.
He's like, no, I'm not done. I'm not.
Now we're not even dating anymore, and my mom is dead, and everyone's like, oof. Yeah.
They just kind of pull him aside, like, okay, bud. All right,
yeah, you're done. You're done, man.
Yeah, and him crying to his mom too, like.
Yeah,
it's a fucking mess,
That scene was really special, man. Like, really special, because I think for him, especially going forward with him, it's not about what anybody expects him to be. It's just about him being whatever version of himself he needs to be right now. It's not about that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought that was critical for him, because clearly the weight of not being who he thought he was supposed to be was just crushing him. And
that's true. And I never really thought of that that way, because they didn't explicitly tell me that.
Yeah.
So that way, I'm just kind of dumb sometimes. But you're right. Yeah, I didn't even think of it in terms of like he's totally crushed by his failures as the king, as king, because his people died and like his brother died, and all these. He has no planet now to go to, or whatever you want to call it, realm. He has no home now. You can count that fishing town, but,
you mean?
Yeah, the floating city. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I didn't even think of it that way, even though the movie told you in a different set in different words. But
right,
you guys, we're missing the greater picture here. Asgard confirms flat Earth theory. Like that
this
shit's
is true.
flat as shit, and it drops off.
It really is.
Yeah, the bridge.
So just FYI,
stops.
guys, get woke.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I gotta find our Bifrost.
Flat Asgard. Flat Asgard confirmed.
Yeah, even our Frost identifies as bi. That was so woke.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Shit. All right. I'm really sad there's no Heimdall. No, I'm just kidding. All right, he didn't really come on. I know it's Idris Elba, but like he never had any big roles in any of those movies. Let's not get too...
He's bummed too. Just ask him.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
He's been very vocal about it. Yeah.
Well, like, when were they going to start giving you a big role? Like,
you know what? I'm just going to go to the Fast and the Furious franchise. You know?
Yeah, right.
Like, all right. Okay, cool. Good luck, dude. All right.
Okay, yeah.
Good luck with Shobbs or whatever.
Shobbs. Calvin and Hobbes, the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the Fast and Furious story.
It's about family, mate.
They say that one time I'm out. I'm already out. Never mind.
They're totally
like the size of a megalodon.
I fought one, you know.
I punched one in the head, and it crumbled under the weight of my fist.
And then there was another one. I fought it too. A whole family of Megs.
There was two. That was the twist of the movie. There was two megalodons.
Yeah, two megalodons.
I never saw it still. I totally forget that.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. There's two fucking megalodons.
Yeah, there's two.
One's way bigger than the other.
The Megs?
No, he and Dwight Schrute string up the first Meg, and everybody's like,
for everybody that's listening,
the movie's over.
This is also a spoiler cast on the Meg.
Yeah, you know what? If you haven't seen the Meg by now, I mean, just don't. There's literally no point.
It's genuinely fun, and people have told me that. And no,
is it? Is it though?
It doesn't even know that it's fun.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't realize fun. It doesn't even realize it's a fun movie.
No.
So how could it be fun?
No.
Anyways, not to go on a Meg tangent.
Sorry,
but
so yeah, this goes on after everybody gets united and Scott explains his. Well, he doesn't explain anything really. Tony solves the time travel thing, and there's a funny gag with Hulk trying to figure it out, and that we got Professor Hulk in this movie too.
So cool.
Which is a great completion, more or less, of that arc of him. The two sides of him combined. I kind of theorized on that a little bit, like literally like the same week as Endgame, without knowing that was where they were going to go. I was like, you know what? I think I was talking to my parents about it or something. I was like, you know what? I bet that Bruce Banner figures out a way to let Bruce take the wheel when he's Hulk. But I didn't realize there was already a comic arc for that. I didn't know it was called Professor Hulk.
Professional Hulk. Yeah.
So like I was like, oh, that would be really cool. And then fucking there it is. 5 years later, he's the Hulk the entire fucking movie, but he's talking.
Right.
Yeah. And I kind of knew it was building towards this. I just I was following way too many like theory videos and stuff like that. Everybody was landing on that. I'm like, yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense. He wasn't Hulk all movie, and like so he's gonna figure out a way to fix that problem, like in some way. And it's gonna result in like them like merging completely or assimilating in some way. Yeah, that's what happened, and I liked it. We still didn't get a lot of like Hulk smash moments. Maybe we did like in a couple of the very busy moments, like in the last act. There was a lot going on.
The reluctant smashing when they go back to New York, just like great. He's like, look, you could afford to smash a little bit. He's like,
it's a little savage,
car,
just lightly tosses a motorcycle.
yeah, right. Literally, like just tosses, not doesn't throw. Yeah, just underhand.
And he knows. I feel like he knows that. Well, not he knows, but I think the writers at least knew that his purpose was going to be served as the guy who does the first snap because to get all the people back. Because the gamma radiation tie-in from the first Avengers, the reason that they recruited Dr. Banner, not Hulk, but Dr. Banner, was to trace the Tesseract's gamma radiation.
Right.
Whatever you want to call it. To trace it wherever the fuck it was and find it, which they did, by the way, but it was too late. They got attacked. Anyway, it's besides the point. The point is that they give off mostly gamma radiation. And I was like, that's
his
good fucking
his
logic.
Body can handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah,
because he's been exposed to that the most out of everybody.
And people I know are complaining about this because like the Hulk is like so changed in this. So like, well, the Hulk can like heal in like milliseconds, and he gets stronger and stronger. And I'm like, they didn't do that in the movies, guys. So
he does.
You gotta let that. You gotta let that go.
He does fight in the final battle, but he doesn't have like big moments, kind of like a lot of people. Like there's there's only a handful of people that did get big moments in the final battle.
Really were,
well, one of his arms was out of commission. When you make that snap, I mean,
but he was still out there. He had a burned whatever right half or whatever, but he was still out there and punching people and stuff like that. So he was still out there doing it, but he didn't need the big battle moment, No,
not at all. There's a lot of other stuff going on.
The snap was his fulfilling
his fight was internal in Infinity War, his fight was within himself, not necessarily with Thanos. Because Thanos did beat his ass, but he wasn't yearning for that revenge like Thor was or something. He was more like I don't know. I don't know. It was just more like a inner battle thing or whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, time heist idea. Brilliant idea.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Great idea.
Let's revisit the best parts of the MCU so far, except for Thor: Dark World, because that's not really the best part.
Hey, Natalie Portman made it.
But they did it anyways. They're like, well, you know what? We're going to fucking do it anyways. Fuck these nerds.
And I was telling you guys, they could just go to the Collector after they turn it into him. They could have just made it a really quick visit where Thor...
hey, remember that thing I gave you? Yeah, give it back. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Where Sif and it was Sif and one of the other Warriors 3 are returning in the Aether to him.
Shazam would have been there for sure.
And it would have been so fucking funny if they walked out and Thor walks in and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need that back actually," and he just takes it back.
Yeah.
And that would have been a quick scene, a quick joke, but he wouldn't have gotten that moment with his mother. And I think, obviously,
Mother was a good payoff.
Yeah, they did it for the payoff also, and I think Thor probably suggested it so he could see her anyway.
Right.
Because that's why he ran off.
But yeah, I mean, I think he wanted to see
Thor,
home because home is gone.
Exactly.
Why would you not want to go get that glimpse of, kind of the little bit of...
Maybe change her life, maybe put her on a path that doesn't kill her. Or
I like that we're filling in a lot of these potential, things that people will call plot holes or whatever. We're totally filling them in this podcast. This is less of a review and more of a, hey, you're probably wrong about those plot holes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of hole filling right now. Yeah. I'll be pointing a lot of people towards the podcast who are like, I want to talk to you about all the negatives of this movie. Hey, listen to my podcast, Fairstone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, are we recording?
See if you have anything to talk about after that.
We go this whole time, we haven't recorded a fucking word.
Yeah, right. Fuck. Damn this new recording app.
I'm trying to go through some other shit. Maybe I haven't gotten through yet, but no, it's time heist time, I guess, pretty much. So yeah, going back to New York City, 2012 Battle New York.
That was cool. Elevator scene was fucking awesome.
Before God. All that, Ant-Man coming back as old man Ant-Man and boy Ant-Man.
Yeah,
it's Ant-Man. Very funny stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it was baby me or old me.
Or just me.
Yeah. And Hulk just being honest with him, I don't know, man, you could come back as you could be lost forever.
Right. Well, I like, he's being honest.
No,
just kidding.
It'll be fine.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Hey guys, this could really go wrong. It's what's that? No, it's gonna be fine. Anyway, here we go.
Yeah, they did such a good job with the facial animations of Mark Ruffalo. I assume those were his facials, and they matched.
Those are definitely captured.
Because they did a really good job capturing that. I felt those emotions and stuff.
But it's still a little like a Hulk still, Yeah.
And I love his back and forth with I wonder how much of that was improvised at the lunch table or the dinner scene, the diner scene.
That was cool.
He gets a selfie. So Hulk gets a selfie, and by the way, I didn't know they were still dabbing in 2023. But he gets a selfie, and then when Ant-Man's asking, "You want a selfie with me?" He's a low-level fucking superhero.
Yeah, no one knows who he is. Yeah.
To the world.
He's like, do you guys remember me? I got really big in an airport in Germany or whatever. Yeah, come on, it was me. I'm Ant-Man.
And when they were because Hulk was kind of egging him on to say yes. He's like, dude,
he's literally shaking his head no, man. He doesn't want the picture.
Take the goddamn phone.
Yeah, and and he gets really stern. He's like, I'm not. Yeah, I fucking love that.
Oh, man.
It's such a great back and forth. I live for that little shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the time heist going back to New York, commenting on Cap's suit in his ass appearing in it.
This is America's ass.
I've thought about his ass looks weird in that suit, but I've never wanted to verbalize it out loud. But then
now you have the opportunity to.
Because I've seen that movie 50 fucking times, and of course every now and then you look at other details, and I'm like, where's his ass? Where is it? But whatever, it's America's ass.
And Jeff knows that Chris Evans has one,
I know it's there.
We know it's there.
We've all seen it,
I haven't. I have not seen it. I have to clarify. I have not seen it.
I'm not there, but we know it exists.
So that was a great joke, and I like the call out Ant-Man did of even in Winter Soldier when you first saw Rumlow and his the Hydra guys. or the Shield guys, you were like, those guys are fucking bad guys, right? So I liked Ant-Man calling them out. Like, they even look like bad guys, and he's like, you're just, you're really small, but you're talking really loud. So.
Yeah, they're Shield, but we didn't. They're Hydra, but we didn't know that at the time. So, dude,
you didn't? They
fucking
look like fucking bad guys.
They look like bad guys. Yeah, absolutely. That was super funny.
That was so well played
other
too.
Perspectives we got of those scenes, and just like, oh, now it's like Iron Man looking at that scene and getting all the and then Robert Redford's character shows up in the lobby, and you're like, he would have been there, and you're like, all these people would have been there. Oh yeah, and the the ancient one would have been there, and all her people would have been fighting, but they wouldn't.
Too. Yeah,
they wouldn't have left.
Rooftop.
They would have been protecting that thing or whatever. The sanctum.
They were probably fighting in a different dimension or something in the mirror world or whatever, where we couldn't see them.
It was just good. It was really clever. Going back to all that and showing that like all these things were always part of this universe, and it made sense, and it didn't feel like they were just tacking it in. Like I was just like, man, this is They really built a big universe here with 22 movies, guys. Like they did a good
like
job.
kind of from the shadows, I guess technically, because nobody knew who she was, but like from the rooftop, and she's probably the sole person that lives there at that Sanctum Sanctorum. So like she's just like literally just like shooting aliens out of the sky and stuff. But the Avengers are just going to get credit for that because they're the ones that are in front of the cameras and stuff. So, like, I don't know. I just like that. That was cool. And her exchange with Hulk, it wasn't... I just like that she did the same move that she did to Doctor Strange, and it turned into a dialogue thing, because that's like a representation of that movie, is like, don't use your brains and have to fight people all the time. Just talk it out, use your words and your brains.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, that whole conversation that she was having with Bruce and stuff, like, dude, that fucking worked for me on like every level. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I like Doctor Strange. That's why I like that movie.
Yeah, the movie's really good, remember?
Yeah.
And I like also about her that she knows the future. She knows as much as that Strange is going to be coming into her, into her tutelage, if you will.
She knows Strange will be the best of us,
And she knows that too, because like she lives during that. But it seems like she doesn't know about the future after she's dead. Because
she can never see beyond that.
She can never see beyond her death. Yeah. So whenever like he tells her, it's like, well, he gives it to Thanos. That's the changing point. She's like, well, I wasn't privy to that information, like there are cosmic level things going on right now that like are way out, and like she just kind of gives it over, but it makes sense. It's not a rush scene or anything like that. Like that was the key word, was that like Strange willingly gave it over, and we're here right now, and I'm here to take this back to make everything right. And she's like,
Strange knew that Banner going back and talking to her and telling her that he gave it up willfully was going to be what ended up making her realize, like, oh, he's got a plan. Okay, he's doing something with this. It's not.
I mean, I think the easiest answer regarding her seeing her future is she's wearing the time stone around her neck. She saw the future through the time stone. It's not.
Yeah.
Well, and that too. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's the easiest answer, right? Because she's wearing it, and she in the movie she was like using dark magic to stay alive. So like she's shown that she's not above or that's not beneath her. Like using magic she shouldn't be using is not beneath her, or whatever. So like maybe she just didn't. I don't know. She stopped at a certain period. She was like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to see further. I don't need to see Thanos. I don't need to see any of that shit. I don't know why, but I don't know. Whatever. I feel like she was using the time stone.
I think all these options are on the table. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they'd never established that in magic, or at least in Doctor Strange, that you could see the future using magic, right? I don't think they have.
No.
So that's got to be a new thing.
No, I have no idea how her time, looking into time stuff worked. I imagine since she always had it around her neck until Doctor Strange had it, she probably used it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go into that any further, unfortunately.
Yeah, no,
because she's totally dead, and it was like not a throwaway scene, but it was a
I don't think we were throwing out any questions or anything. I think all the explanations here that we're saying are all on the table.
Yes, they are all on the table, and just select one of them and move on. People don't be like,
I think
well, she could see the future.
You could select all of them too. Like that Bruce Banner was not only convincing, but she could also use the time stone. Like they're both very plausible.
Yeah, she could have done it right then and there and been like,
yeah, right. She's like, wow, you do make a point. Let me use it real quick. Oh, yep, and you're right.
Also, say goodbye to Stark. I'm not saying anything. I didn't say it. You didn't hear it from me. But maybe give him a hug or something.
Yeah, right. Maybe be nice to him for the rest of the movie. You know,
Natasha's last words to the team was "See you in a minute."
See you in a minute. Oh my god!
Ugh, I did not know that, and you suck.
Yeah, it had to be her. It had to fucking be her.
She was not on my death pool list.
No, me neither. As soon as
prequel coming out, as soon as her and Hawkeye were going to more, what is it?
Vormir.
What's the name? Vormir. Yeah. I was like, okay, I see how this is going down.
Well, see, that's interesting because I was talking to Jeff earlier, and I was just like, he and I didn't really realize it until they were standing in front of Red Skull. I was just like, oh, one of them are gonna have to die.
Yeah, but as soon as it was just the two of them, and it's just like, god damn.
But they were even saying it's just like, well, and you two are going to Vormir, and like I didn't notice it then. Like I was just like, oh, okay, well that's gonna be interesting how they like. I never comprehended that this sacrifice was gonna have to be made until they were literally standing on the ledge, and he was just like a soul for a soul. I'm like, oh yeah, they're not gonna be able to finagle their way out of this.
There's no other way to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be Clint. It was so well.
I really thought it was going to be Clint, man.
There were so many, like, I don't know, like, oh, man, it is going to be her. Oh, no, like, it's slowing down. It's definitely going to be Clint. And then there's one more, like, gotcha moment where, like, they both tumble over the side. And it's just like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
It was a hard moment, man. I did not see that coming. And her, like, he wouldn't let go. Like, she had to kick off, you know? Like, it was just, it was rough, man. And then just like Gamora, they show her down there like in a bloody splat, and I'm like, God,
exact same position,
she's dead,
too,
man.
You know?
Yeah, she's dead. I get it. Yeah.
These man, there's so many parallels in throughout the MCU between. Of course, it's these two together on Vormir. It couldn't be anybody else because these two fought each other when Hawkeye was brainwashed or whatever in Avengers. The first
I mean they've got a history.
They fought each other in Civil War, pulling their punches and stuff. And
and then he even like jokes that it's like we're far away from Budapest. Like, hey, at least this isn't Budapest, but it ends up being worse than that because one of them dies. Like, it's just there's a lot of foreshadowing that I don't know that like something really bad is going to happen.
Yeah, and it did feel like, even. Like, even Ultron was, like, hinting at, Hawkeye's totally going to die in this movie. And, like, and, like, this movie even picked up the mantle of that in terms of, like, his sins throughout the movie in terms of, like, killing everybody that he was crossing paths with and how he's irredeemable at this point, or so he feels. Yeah. And, for Black Widow to do it, honestly, it makes sense, though, because she's like, this is my family, and she would do anything for her family.
I loved it when, because Red Skull greets you by son of or daughter of whatever, and
I had no idea what my father's
name was. He knew your father's name, and she's like, I didn't know it. So, what am I doing not being the sacrifice here? Like, you've got people to bring back, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That does. Yeah, she even kind of brings that even cements that she literally doesn't have like an actual family.
I mean that the Avengers are her family. The Avengers are her family, so that's what she's doing because it is about
dying for them. Yeah. Whereas Clint's just kind of like, I'm shitty. Let me die because I'm shitty.
Yeah, right. No, you have people to go back to, like real people. So like,
yeah, exactly. When they're brought back and we win.
I'm doing this for us, you know. Yeah, like, can you imagine if they came back and after like Tony and Cap lost their stones and like they came back like stoneless and like Clint came back and he's like, "You fucking assholes! How could you fail? Like, how could you?"
Thank God they decided to go on another trip.
Like, because all it took was he even says it like, don't give me any hope, just don't even do it. She's like, sorry it took me this long, we got a little hope, and he still doesn't believe, so he's the one that's the guinea pig to go back and see if this whole thing works. And seeing his family still intact is just like, man, they're really driving in these. He tripped over
a bike or something, and then he heard his daughter's voice.
Right, and then he comes back.
Oh, that's it. I'm fucking doing whatever you guys say. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. It's him and Thor were just handled perfectly for me as far as they're like getting them back in the team.
All the main Avengers had their own, like the six main ones from the original movie or the first movie. All had their own well-defined, like, written arcs intact. Yeah. And they even fucking gave one to Nebula. Who before this movie was like nobody.
And I love the tie-in because it totally makes sense. She's a machine. She's a neural network. So her being the bridge between our reality and the past for Thanos, that is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. That's absolutely a great way to write that in and include Thanos in the final battle, too. Because we're going to need a final battle. You can't just... All right, everybody snap back. All right, roll credits, guys. We're done here.
We got our gauntlet. We're done. All right. Look at it. It's different. It's the right hand, and it's an iron gauntlet. It's different. It's cool, and we're done. No. You got to have a battle.
Oh man. Oh fuck, that final hour. Shit. All right.
Dude.
So
Really something.
I love when Cap and Tony are the ones that, these guys that are at odds for literally all the MCU that comes to a head in Civil War and whatnot. I love that they are the one, they're the ones that have to go back and get the Tesseract. And by the way, the Tesseract is like the most sought after thing in the MCU. It's just funny that that's the one that they missed.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me. It's like, this goddamn Tesseract's always fucking everywhere where we need it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
But then
it's just fucking Tesseract.
Tony, because of that mess up, Tony got that moment with his dad.
Well, but I like that the final agreement between them two, which they became amicable over the years, it seems like, but like where they both realized that like we fucked up, but there's this slight chance that we can do this, and you and I are the only two people who can do it. We got to send Ant-Man out of here. Like he can't fucking handle this like trip or whatever. Like you and I, we have to go further back on this suicide mission, further back into time to like fix this mistake they made in this timeline. And like that, then we get that big payoff. Like, do you trust me? Yeah, I trust you. Like, speech or whatever. And then they both jump back in time, and then we get the awesome Stark on Stark action.
And there's that's the entire reason that they had to be the ones to do it, is because Cap knew the facility. He'd been there, like he trained there, and he did his whatever steroids procedure there, and and Stark knows it because of all the shit from his dad. He knows everything about that place because he's probably been there as a kid.
Yeah.
So like it just made sense that the two of them, they were like, oh yeah, were they at the same place at the same time? Yeah, and they were just like talking almost in code like an inside joke. And literally just saying the date. So like they know exactly where to go and how to get it. It's more about like, the stuff with his dad was just perfection. That's what made that scene in Cap seeing Peggy for the first time. More youthful than he'd ever seen her before, and like vibrant and stuff. And I think that's when he kind of made up his mind about, we lost JD.
Yep.
God damn it, JD. Anyway, that's definitely when Cap made up his mind. It sounds like I'm going to have to do some editing on this one.
Timestamp here.
Oh. His Wi-Fi crashed.
Yeah,
hey,
he'll be right
on
back
Wi-Fi?
on.
Use a cable, bruh.
We can keep going. He'll be back on.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like that cemented his choice when, like, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go. No, maybe that didn't. Maybe it's what happened to Stark at the end.
I don't know. There's a lot. I think that was definitely one of the moments because, like, he gets so close to that glass that she could see him, and he doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like, he walks up to it because, like, it's during a mission too, and like he's all about the mission, remember?
Yeah.
But like he's so willing to like almost risk it all, and she wouldn't recognize him, so he would just be an intruder, and
well, he hasn't changed that much since she last saw him. So
that's right. This would have been after she saw him that he saw her. So no, you're absolutely right. So I mean that would have blown everything, But like he didn't even care. He got that close to the glass just to get a better look at her at the expense of almost ruining everything. But,
right. But that shows Cap's like character in terms of like what's most important now is getting the stones back, and I'm just gonna fuck this bitch later. That's what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely. And you know what? Who could blame him?
I mean, have you seen Haley Atwell?
Have you seen her? Jesus. She is fucking beautiful.
Hey, that's how we really broke out of the ice, was a hard-on from thinking about her.
Absolutely.
That's definitely...
like 50-year hard-on or 70 years.
There was a guy that they only showed you a flashback of when Cap was discovered. And that would have been funnier if the guy like that had like the baton that was scanning for like metal and shit was like, holy shit, this guy's got a fucking hard-on.
Yeah.
Sir, get over here.
Everyone knows dancing is code for fucking, so it's just it's a euphemism.
That would have been another funny thing if they cut to like a vulgar fucking like sex tape.
It's like Peggy Carter getting slammed by Captain America. It's like a MacGruber like sex
scene where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fill you up." And then it's roll credits.
Just that's the end. That's the end credit scene.
Oh my god!
And this girl, fucking Peggy Carter.
JD, you need the visual of the MacGruber sex scene because it's just some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I really do. I need to get on that, man.
I'll fill you up. Fuck, man, I love that movie.
God.
Oh man, is it 20? Whenever the year that comes out in yet, so we can do the 10-year whatever on that.
Yeah,
movie. Right. I think it's 2011. I don't know. I think we got a couple more years on that one.
It's coming up soon.
Might even be next year. I don't know, but
All right.
Next year, it's 2010 is like one of the best years in film period. So, like, 2010 and 1999 are like, in our lifetime, just some of the best shit ever. So
yeah, it's 2010, man. We're getting there.
It's 2010. God damn it! It's probably not even gonna be my 10, even though I talk about it all the time. Shit. Oh man, but let me tell you, Iron Man 2 definitely my 10.
Oh, is it
all time?
Yeah. Wow.
Really came around on that movie, huh?
Yeah, it came around since
I need bird.
I need blood. Hey, I need blood.
How do you follow up the wrestler with that shit?
I know, right? And everybody was so hyped, and I was too. Like, oh my god!
How do you get all of those actors and churn out that shit?
Yeah. At least Sam Rockwell was still the best part of the movie, but like,
yeah,
at what cost?
Hey man, there's still hope he could even come back and reprise his role a little bit, maybe down the road. That'd be cool.
Could be like, I don't know in what movie that he would show up in. But he could be like, hey, there's an absence in the tech world. I'm gonna.
Well, what if like Vulture or something teams up with him, and he's in the Spider-Man world because Iron Man and Spider-Man are kind of interconnected.
Good old Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I love that scene.
Hey Pete, how you doing?
How you doing,
Pete? Hey.
Good old Spider-Man. He's so fucking menacing in that scene.
It is. It's so good.
I love it. Oh man! Every time I think about moving Homecoming a little lower in my MCU rankings, I'm like, but that car scene though is so fucking
dude, just
good.
the light turning from red to green. It's just fucking.
I haven't seen a twist like that coming in a long time. I got to be honest. Like,
the dad thing.
Yeah, the dad in Homecoming.
Peter's reaction was my reaction in the theater.
Yeah, same here. Get the fuck out of here! I wanted to scream that in the theater, like fuck off.
Because he was so like dead, like set on like I'm good, not doing the Spider-Man thing. I'm doing good, being casual and not doing it anymore. You know, like,
right.
And we were on board with that, man. The movie sold us. The movie sold us on him being a casual kid again, a teenager at school, and like a good student, and a good boyfriend, and
no,
did not need to be abbreviated at all.
No, we gotta put an end to that.
You know, he just scored a good girl, so stupid. Anyway, yeah, when he opens that door, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And, like, he's just standing in the kitchen so awkwardly, and, like, he just literally hands the whatever that stupid fucking thing we got to put on a girl's wrist over to her. He doesn't even put it on her wrist like he's supposed to. He's just like, here.
The corsage.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of carnation.
Oh, man.
JD, you knew that was the real world, Rose. What an idiot.
Yeah, God. It's I went to prom once. It was true.
All I remember are mums and how fucking stupid those are.
Oh, God, mum. Especially, you know what? Mums are really dumb in Texas.
Thing,
yeah. People probably wouldn't understand that unless they are from Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why Kyle left. He's tired of the mums. You can.
There were so many mums down there. I left. I was like, fuck this, like mum-filled state.
The only British people are got to be confused by this if they listen.
I know, yeah.
Why do they hate the mums?
A bunch of ladies down there. I don't understand.
I don't understand why they hate the mums.
But mum is also like ma'am, so it's like a bunch of a bunch of ladies.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I forget there was somewhere I was leading to with the Spider-Man thing. Not in terms of this movie, but in terms of Homecoming, because that's what we should talk about the rest of the time. Anyway. Time heist is complete. They got all the stones, and I think.
Nebula and War Machine did really good together. Them tipping off Thanos, and like the switcheroo with Nebula, all was like. I was like, I didn't fucking see any of this coming. I was just
seeing the Quill scene from like without the music.
My God. So he's like a moron, right?
He's just a moron.
Yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like you like to envision that he's like lip syncing, but no, he's like singing shittily.
He's full on singing. Right. Oh, and I like that. Like he thinks that he's super cool, and like it's played as cool, like in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's like, yeah, this guy's kind of like a cool dude or whatever. But like from another perspective, it's so fucking doofusy, you know.
And Nebula's like, yeah, moron, yeah. I love when they just knock him the fuck out. It's such a good moment.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah.
Oh, here's another question. Besides the Cap thing, which we'll get to at the end of the movie, she burns her hand like immensely by reaching in through the trap and getting the Power Stone.
Yeah.
But when 2014 Nebula takes her place to go back, Cheadle wasn't like, I keep wanting to call it Cheadle, but his fucking roadie, it's War Machine. Yeah. He wasn't like, hey, didn't you like fuck up your arm?
Yeah, but
maybe he doesn't
everyone would have
understand.
noticed the gold on her head. I'm like, I doubt they would have noticed that. They don't know her.
Right.
Hey, didn't you used to have a gold streak on your head? She'd been like, no, that's stupid.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Who would have been like,
That's
no,
fine.
you did.
Yeah, no, I'm really buckling down on this. You totally had one. Yeah.
Rocket might have noticed because he notices weird
that's
shit
true.
like
Yeah,
that.
maybe. Yeah, he would have been like, "Hey, lady,
But,
what's the gold strip?" Because he's always noticing arms and yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's like, hey, how much for the gun?
I buy that it was all just for Rocket. Yeah, I buy that it's all just for Rocket.
I'm gonna get that on. I'm gonna get it.
Oh yeah, I imagine. Yeah, I'm gonna get that on. I imagine Rhodey. I guess just being preoccupied, just mourning because Black Widow literally just died. Like right when they come back, they're like, "Oh, cool.
Yeah, like I guess she's dead, and he turns to them and like, "Hey, what about your arm?" You know, it's like that's not the time.
Right. And this is literally right before Gamora goes to take the Power Stone and try to like tell Quill that like she's there on her own accord. You know, she's gonna take it and free herself of Thanos, more or less.
Right.
So like she is on the border of betraying him, more or less.
Yeah, for sure.
So her turn at the end makes total sense too, because she's already like, I'm gonna call it quits. That was another complaint I heard. That's why I bring this up, because somebody mentioned, I don't remember what review it was, but somebody mentioned that Nebula only said like a sentence to her, and Gamora was like, "All right, cool, let's go stop."
Yeah,
Thanos.
but what that sentence entails, like she's from the future.
Yeah.
Gamora has tried to be a sister to her, maybe not in the best way over the years, but that's been her goal, was to, connect with her.
But Gamora was already on the edge of like, give me just give me one reason why I should betray
give me
Thanos,
anything
and she
at all.
did. So suck it, haters.
Yeah, people just need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, people need to shut
No, Gamora was already planning on like betraying Thanos like at the very beginning. At Guardians, where this movie takes place, she had already decided that she's not on Thanos' side.
Yeah, that's exactly
my
point. She just needed to hear the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I don't buy anybody's like disbelief of like her turn that was so quick or whatever. I don't at all.
Yeah. And I think we already touched on Thanos being just a more aggressive, less serene individual in this movie, and how I think seeing not just his demise, but knowing that he won, and how bitter that made his enemies, like how bitter that made them. That's what set him on his mission, for sure. Not just his mission, but like his desire to fucking kill all of them, wipe out the entire universe.
Like, I piss these people off so much they're willing to like mess with time and space.
So I just have to end it now. I've probably been saying literally like a fuck ton. This is the literal cast. Literal cast. Yeah, that definitely changed his demeanor, at least from the first movie. And I mean, I know 2014 is not that long ago, but hey, like, 4 years younger, he's got a little kick in his step.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think him seeing that he not only won but gets killed for it or whatever, it kind of not only rattles him, but like he's just like, it makes him a little arrogant too. Like, dude, I'm unstoppable. Like, I'm totally gonna win this.
And
like,
this is before Ultron, where he was like, fine, I'll go look for the stones myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so this is
right. So he hadn't even in this timeline had like decided to pursue the stones himself yet. He was still using all of his pawns. Like, so now Ronan wasn't even in like action yet. Mm-hmm. Like, he was just about to be sent out.
This is the first. Yeah, this was the first or the second. I'm sorry. No, yeah, this is the first after the first time he lost to them via Loki and the Chitauri. Mm-hmm. So he knows who they are.
Yeah, right.
But he didn't realize that they were capable of this type of shit. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm literally gonna have to go back and kill them all now. Oh, God.
Yeah, right. These guys are really fucking annoying.
Yeah, these guys are pain in my ass. Yeah. So I like that change in Thanos. Like, he did feel different in his things that he was saying and stuff like that. Especially, when he just sat there and waited, was barely trying to fight Thor and Cap and Iron Man. It seemed
right.
It seemed like he was ready for anything they were doing. Like, I love the clever shit of Thor throwing his hammer and Thanos putting Iron Man in the way of it. And shit like that, or like Thor trying to summon his hammer, and what does he do? He like bats it. He doesn't bat the hammer away. Like I think it was the axe actually, and he tried. Yeah, he grabs the axe from it.
Yeah, he grabs the axe and tries to use it on him.
Tries to kill him. Yeah. I just thought, yeah, dude, he's just like 10 steps ahead. He's like he's just bred into the military shit, you know.
Man, and he is whooping these three's asses.
Oh my God,
we're seeing our main characters, our main three, get the snot kicked out of them. It was really awesome.
But we finally got, you could call it like the level playing field where, you know, it's the three of them versus him. It's raw. There's no stones. There's no other interference. It's just our dudes.
Yeah, the stones are buried somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, Hawkeye's
about to grab him here in a second. Yeah. But them being kind of triumphant or whatever, like, oh my God, we won. And then him just blasting them was so great. They got to celebrate that for like half a second before
and
they
then
got
Captain Marvel shows up.
Oh my God, it was so great.
Dude, I love the way that they shot everything post-snap with like the phone vibrating and you see his wife and he talks to her and Scott Lang's looking at the birds like, oh my God,
there's more birds in the garden now. Yeah, there's more birds.
Like, I think it worked and like everybody's just
and then he just gets
and it's like the score cuts out and then you see the fucking like Hulk sees it way too late. He sees the fucking blast. And it's crazy that I guess the Infinity Gauntlet was so fucking loud or something, or Hulk was screaming was so loud that they didn't hear when Nebula blasted the spaceship into the facility and it went through the roof. It went through the fucking roof of the facility. I was like, holy shit, you didn't feel that or hear that? But like, no, they locked down the entire thing, and I guess it was just fucking loud as shit in there. They did a great job making that feel really, truly epic. Like, everybody's taking, like, Iron Man guarding whoever it was that was near him with a shield, and, like, let's go into lockdown mode, and everything just felt really, really fucking heavy in that snap.
Like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, we're about to, like, undo it, you know? Like, the build-up was so good.
And from this point onward, when they come back from the time travel shit, from this point onward, don't go pee. Just don't. I don't know why you're listening to this if you haven't seen it yet, but just don't go pee.
It's too late now.
You know what? You're not even allowed to do it at home. You're not even allowed to hit pause.
No.
There should be no pause function on that Blu-ray or download.
Amazing moment after amazing moment, like in terms of like filmmaking and just comic book, nerdgasm moments and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Just that scene where you see like 50 fucking Doctor Strange portals and you're seeing, like you said, Titan and Wakanda and just the fucking armies converging on one another is fucking God.
But like, having Thanos army come out first, and then it's just Captain America standing there, and there's that way pulled out like scene where it's him standing there alone, and then it's the whole army or whatever, and then they do that scene again, but then Cap has his whole army behind him. I was like, this is my favorite. Like, this is my favorite fucking thing in the entire world.
That's my favorite shot of the MCU for sure. Like favorite sequence in terms. It just felt so fucking earned.
And
like
then
the
Avengers assemble.
Oh man, the Avengers Assemble, they earned it.
Oh my God. That part was so fucking full body goosebumps.
I don't clap during movies ever, but I almost
I woohooed and clapped and like almost jumped out of my seat. I'm pretty sure I scared the lady that was next to me.
That scene, that was fucking awesome.
Well, the one right before it is him picking up Mjolnir and summoning it back.
Oh yeah, we forgot about all that. He fucking picking. I knew it. So he was pretty proud.
But like that was one moment too, where like when it I was at when I watched this the first time, an undisclosed location via undisclosed methods. I was like in my seat, like, ah! Like I literally did that. I like jumped up when he grabbed the hammer, and then when the people started filtering out of Doctor Strange's fire holes or whatever you want to call them, spark holes. When they started showing up, I was getting weepy, dude. Like I was like, this is so good. I'm getting chills. My body doesn't know how else to react, so I'm gonna start tearing up now.
Yeah,
especially when it was Black Panther coming out and it was like slow motion and like you could see who it was. Through the shadow, but you didn't see their face yet, and you're just like, "This is so earned right now." Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It didn't feel like rushed or like something like I don't know, if Superman were to die in one movie and then come back to the next one.
I don't know. Nobody would ever be dumb enough.
Even though the same amount of time may have passed, like in terms of viewing, like hours or whatever, like. This is how you do that.
This is the way you do that, and it helps knowing that they were all established characters first, and they have their own personalities, they have their own vendettas.
I think you got to weave in like 4 origin stories into that movie where you bring Superman back. No, I think that sounds really smart.
This movie was missing 4 origin stories. I don't know what happened.
It's just really weird. And you know what? Why didn't their villain look like a cat? I don't get it. They
should have introduced the Eternals in this one and made everybody really fucking confused.
Yeah, I know.
Who are these fucking space weirdos?
Right.
They're like Guardians of the Galaxy, but like not funny and weird. They are weird. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't mean to pass over them grieving about Black Widow. She should have, gotten her due on this. My bad. I don't hate her as a character. My bad. Didn't mean to do that. Her arc is fulfilled, and I love them taking a second to be like, this is one of the OG Avengers.
Yeah, we have to do this for her now.
You get your hammer, and you go tell him. That's my favorite Hawkeye quote right there.
He sounds just like that too. That was really
does. When he sounds upset and yells, he sounds really fucking nerdy. You get your hammer. Hey, you go tell him.
Oh, this is going to be the next thing, the next head hook.
You should be.
You should be. Or no, it's because that's the wrong one.
It is, but
we did the wrong one for months,
right.
So it might as well be
I'm sure you are. Yeah.
Sure you are.
I'm sure you are.
What's funny is when he's like, you want to go talk to the floaty red guy? The guy with the red face?
Oh, yeah, you want to talk to the guy.
Cap wasn't like,
tell him.
Who was that?
Yeah.
Who was that guy? I think I know that guy.
Yeah,
there wasn't
Cap
one moment.
Yeah, Cap never put that together. That's kind of weird.
No. But I bet he was probably just like...
I wonder if Cap shows up.
He's somewhere else and totally cursed.
Well, I wonder when Cap shows up to return that, and Red Skull's there, and Red Skull's like, "Hey, Rogers," and he's like, "Do I fucking know you?" Yeah. Remember I was a Nazi?
Stone.
Remember? And he just like, I don't remember, man. Here's your fucking stone back. Yeah, here's your dumb stone back. I mean,
yeah, maybe that would have been worth it in the pond or something. He was just like, just like, I'm fucking out of here.
Like, Steve, son of nope, fuck you, bye, out.
I really didn't get all that misty-eyed when Black Widow was actually tossed or whatever. It was like the after the fact when Hawkeye was so distraught, and I was starting to get my eyes welled up. I didn't do it when Gamora died either, but
I was crying that whole scene, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I kind of saw it coming, so I was like, oh no.
No, not either one of these. No, just toss Red Skull over and be like, "I love you" after you toss him.
Yeah. Well,
I thought one of them, it's like you have to give up something. I'm like, maybe one of them will give up killing. I don't know.
Maybe Black Widow toss out her guns.
Hawkeye throws his sword down I love this thing. Fuck.
I love this thing.
And he's like, wow, that's really all it took.
Good
job, guys. Here you go.
Great. You tell him. He didn't need to kill his daughter.
You go and you tell him.
You should have tried literally anything else. He could have thrown a coin down there, when he threw his daughter, asshole.
You've been to Earth or had people. Just have somebody pick you up a quarter. And just try it.
I'm sorry. I can't let go of it. You tell him.
You tell him.
Oh, God. So the Nebula Gamora thing wraps up pretty quickly. We already touched on the scene where they reconcile, but Nebula shoots her past self.
Yep, that's cool.
That wraps up pretty quick and nice and tight. Then we get to the shit that matters, the big three, main. You could call them main because they main three dudes, I guess. Avengers.
They're the main three dudes.
Yeah, having a little fighty fight with Thanos, and that the way that they shot that Mjolnir sequence with Cap too was that's how you do it in terms of reminiscent of when Thor regained his lightning abilities in Ragnarok or whatever.
Yeah,
the way they shot it, where it was just made it feel like a bigger moment, where the hammer lifts up and you don't see who lifts it, and then it gets thrown at him, and then you think that Thor maybe summoned it or something.
See, and I knew immediately.
Yeah, you know immediately, but in terms of the clue, just the way that they shot it made it kind of feel like. If you're dumb, I guess, you would kind of be like, did Thor summon it? What happened? And then when the fact that it went back and went to Cap was like, Jesus Christ, dude, that was just the best way, the best possible way to film that scene was the way they did it.
It was so good. It was so fucking good.
And then him owning Thanos for a good 5 seconds, but it was still dope to see him shield, shield. Hammer, shield, there, hammer. It's just
he throws the shield up in the air and then hits the hammer against it, and it shockwaves and knocks Thanos off his feet forward. I was
then he's doing the helicopter thing. He's doing helicopter dick.
Hey, the hammer pulled you off. The hammer pulled you off. Yeah. It sounds like you had a really intimate relationship with that hammer.
Oh man, it just looks so cool and then when he's just casually carrying it to go return the stones, that was just such. That was so cool. It's just part of him now.
Well, he's got it. Well. Doesn't he have to take it back to Shouldn't you leave that back in Asgard?
Good point. Yeah, good point.
It's like somewhere there's a Thor walking around that's like, where is my...
Where the fuck is Mjolnir?
The only scene we needed back in terms of like how did he return it was the Soul Stone. Like, how the fuck do you return that?
Yeah.
Well, can I just get Black Widow back, or?
Yeah, is there an exchange policy here? Or?
I want
got my receipt. Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's this fucking guy, this Nazi troll. Oh God.
Didn't I beat you up?
Didn't I like kill you or? Oh no!
A stone absorbed you or something.
I shot you with the space stone. That's right. You just disappeared. So all those people that Red Skull killed in First Avenger, they just disappeared somewhere else, and they're all like, "Hello, is anybody out here?"
I'm scared.
I'm very scared. And British. I don't know why they're British.
They gotta be British.
They gotta be. Just assume it.
Yeah.
Anyway, great moments there, and then having the again, that was the perfect way to film it, was to do the callback with Winter Soldier, have Sam be the first voice that Cap hears, and do the on your left, and have everybody slowly start appearing, and then have all the holes, spark holes, as I call it affectionately.
Yeah, Doctor Strange spark buttholes of time travel.
Yep, dark buttholes. Yep.
Yeah.
To have them all kind of like, it just made like a beautiful scene. Everything involving
gorgeous
Doctor Strange's magic is always fucking gorgeous. I swear, every single time. Poor dude is relegated over there to like stopping a wave the whole fight.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he does a couple cool things leading up to that, but then he's on tornado duty.
Yeah, he's like,
and then he holds up his finger a couple times.
And then he gives Tony the finger, and
I know, he fingers Tony. It's so weird.
Tony, come here. I gotta diddle you with my weird American accent. I like to think he's like that automated computer voice where you tell it to talk American, and it's like a shitty.
I am American.
I am American. Yeah, but they all come back, and
there is some good payoffs with Tony, because like Tony's like the very first thing he asked Strange is like, is this it? Are we in it? And Strange is like, can't tell you that, bud.
Tell you. Yeah,
because it's true. Because if he told him, he's just like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to probably die."
Well, he did end up having to tell him, but that's because Tony knew that's what he had.
He
to
knew
do.
when the right moment to tell him.
It was almost like he was looking at Strange to validate it. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to probably fucking die, aren't I?"
Right.
Yeah.
And then he kind of looks at Strange, and then that's when Strange holds up the one, like, "This is it, man. Like, you know what to do. And sorry."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tony was like, obviously there was part of him that was very wary of that situation because of, he's got a family now to think of. So I think, it was very apparent that's why Strange had to be like, dude, no, this is it. Seriously, don't.
No, seriously, you have to give it your all.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Especially because you're the only one that those stones could change over to, because that's your gauntlet, that's your technology. Those stones can migrate over to your hand. Nobody else can do that,
Yeah.
So that was just, God damn it, that was so brilliant. Okay, before that, there's the chick fighting thing that apparently some people are very upset about.
Oh, people are really upset about
the rah-rah femme moment?
Yeah, and this was like, cool. I think this was actually, you know what? I'm going to backtrack a little bit, because Scarlet Witch shows up and she's like, you took everything from me, and almost kills him.
Yeah, beats the shit out of Thanos until he rains down fire.
Rain fire, and that's when Captain Marvel comes in, and that was great how all the guns focused to her, because they knew she's not to be fucked with.
Yeah, right. I like that part a lot, and I like how she literally does exactly what she does in her movie and just blows up a big ship. So that was her good use of her, I guess. But she does get a really good fight with Thanos too, so I'm not to undermine that.
He headbutts her and nothing happens. It's great.
I love that. It's so great. She's like, what was that? Yeah,
she's got like this cosmic, super powerful force field around her. I hope people don't. They are. I mean, they are. They're going to get like, you know who I'm talking about, the fucking fragile male trolls out there. Are gonna be
male
like,
egos out
by
there.
Thanos, who has Infinity Stones.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I love the intelligence that Thanos uses to take off one of the stones and just fucking blast her with it. That was brilliant.
That. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, that was
especially because it's the Power Stone. That's the one you use,
Because now she's mimicking Cap, like from Infinity War, where she grabs his hand. He's like, been here before. Oh, fuck. She's really overpowering me still. So,
she's like almost breaking it or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So then that's when I got to get smart real quick, and it's so quick. He's so quick about it.
Yeah, especially because you got to reattach it because that thing will eat you up.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. That shit, and then Scarlet Witch, and then the women having their moment, which I actually loved, especially because
I thought it was awesome. Is it pandering? Yeah, it is, but it's like it's done right. Like I think it's done in a way like where I don't feel like it's pandering to just one group because I had a good time at that scene. I thought it was fucking rad as shit.
Well, and I mean, just on its most basic level, that's who we have going forward for the most part.
Yeah, because
just
Black Widow was the singular woman, and I think there would have been. That might have given some viewers pause up until that scene. Like, well, who's left then? Because that was the Avenger, the woman Avenger. Yeah. And now it's these women all got your back. Yeah. And that was honestly, that was just really dope. It gave me chills. I don't care. I mean, you know what? I don't care that I'm a dude and it gave me chills.
It gave me chills.
Gave me boner chills. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Make it super awkward already.
Yeah.
Thanos was like, oh, yeah, come at me.
I take that back.
No, but I really did like that moment, and I feel like it is deserved, honestly. Because how many badass dude, but fucking Cap got to wield Mjolnir, and these women can't have one moment.
Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ, everybody! Yeah.
Thor summoning it was great.
And then it's gonna.
By the way, when he was like back in time and he grabbed it, he was like, I'm still worthy. Like he didn't know if he still was. That was
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Anyway, what were you
I like how the mom's like, sometimes it takes a minute. Like, just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Eat a salad, by the way.
Rocket's like, come on, we gotta go.
Is this the mother? I don't know why he talks like Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny. Yeah. Is this the mother?
We're talking about positraction here, okay?
What, were you going to say something about the women thing? The women fighting scene, JD? Or?
I mean, I just wanted to reiterate how fucking awesome and sexy it was. So, I mean,
it was both.
I have no problem boiling my support of it down to my baser male
honestly, at this point, even though I'm sure there's going to be more female like superheroes coming in after this, this slate feels totally done. Yeah, as it is. So I would totally be 100% on board with like a female Avengers type thing. That would be fucking dope, honestly. Especially with Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel on the same team. Nobody else needs to show up to the fight.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. It's fucking crazy, man. I'm liking the new lineup, dude. The new lineup, when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's youthful and fresh faces and stuff.
Yeah.
So Iron Man getting the final word. His last words are the words that defined his character at the end of his first movie.
Yep.
I am Iron Man.
What did Thanos say first? I am death.
I am inevitable.
I am inevitable.
He was quoting, he's quoting his future self, the fucking cheater.
Yeah.
You don't get to know that. That's not fair.
That's like making nicknames for yourself. Who fucking do that?
Yeah. And I love that those were his last words, though. He did try to say Pepper later on, but he couldn't talk. So that was just a brilliant choice. And also, that scene killed me on multiple levels.
Multiple horrifying levels. That scene.
Because who was it that first came? It was somebody else that first came up to him and was like, "Oh shit, this is sad." And then it's Peter Parker, and you're like, "This is gonna wreck me now."
And then the payoff with Peter earlier, where they see each other for the first time, and he hugs, and then it's a really sweet moment. Of course, Peter's like, "Oh, that feels nice." You know? I'm just like, "Oh, he kind of did it all for again, like." He kind of did it all for him, not like just for him, but like there was a big moment where like him failing Spider-Man, and now he's standing here. It's just like the fruits of my life. I did it. I fucking did it, guys.
That was the thing. Those were literally his first words to the reunited, team on Earth, where I lost the kid. I lost the kid. The hardest that you could take that loss. And so that was just a great moment. And also, Peter rambling was a good way to kind of hand wave, some of the what happened.
Right.
And then Doctor Strange said, it's been 5 years, we got to go. They need us. That was just brilliant. A brilliant way to kind of, yada yada that.
Right. Better than having like Lewis from Ant-Man explain it.
Oh my God. He would have just been punched by the first Avenger to see him.
Yeah, kidding.
But then having, I know it was somebody else that not discovered, but like helped Tony like lay down or something. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Cap or anything like that. But it was definitely like Peter Parker then came in and said like, it did his put on his sad face and made everybody weep because that's how fucking good Tom Holland is at acting. And then Pepper just killed me, dude. She fucking killed me because she she was putting on her strong face.
Yeah.
So
time.
the last thing that he saw wasn't her crying, and she was like, "We're gonna be okay, and you can rest now."
Yeah, you can
and
rest
then
now.
she fucking cries when he dies.
Yeah.
And that's brutal, dude. That made it even worse.
Yeah.
Like, that made it, instead of her going, why? Like, she's like, oh, God. I think about that moment sometimes and I get teary-eyed. Like, I just think about it. Jesus Christ, that's so brilliant. And I'm sure that's like a very real thing that people have to say goodbye to people that are their loved ones that are like, they're losing and they're like, put on a strong face.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. And then you have to, cry out of their eye line when they're, they got no pulse. They got no pulse slow-mo.
Right.
But yeah, that moment, dude. Jesus Christ. And that definitely fulfilled that scene. She said it earlier, like, he mentioned offhand, like, I shouldn't really be thinking about this time travel thing because, even though I solved it or whatever, maybe I should just go, sleep on it or whatever. And she goes, yeah, but would you be at rest?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a fucking brilliant writing, dude. This is another goddamn brilliant writing scene to call that back and be like, you can rest now. Added so much more to it, especially that second time because I missed the rest line the first time. God damn it, dude. Did you guys weep too at this part, or am I alone here?
I mean, just not talking right now. I'm trying not to cry right now.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's too early for this shit, man.
That part really ripped me apart when I was just like, boy, and like I had all my money on like Cap is dying. He's dying at this scene. Dying. It's about to happen. And like I've been sold on this like old man Stark mentor forever. So like in my mind he was never dead. Like he was never gonna die. He was always gonna pop back up and be like, "You young Avengers is not how we used to do it in our day," But
here's my money.
He fucking died, and it was the most suitable ending. And it was like that was the way it had to go.
He was the first.
Yeah.
He was the first. Yeah. It bookended. Big time.
Perfect bookend too, because again, they didn't need to they needed to give Stark another arc. Come on, man! Like he's had so many arcs. Some of them have been really shit. Iron Man 2. So I mean, this is just like perfect. Sorry to rag on Iron Man 2 in this podcast, but that's a shitty arc.
Well, DC's been kind of killing it lately, so we can't really rag on DC right now. So.
Yeah, so now I got to rag on the MCU movies as I'm rewatching them.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1, I got to stop underrating it. That's my main thing about that one, because I gave it 4 stars because there are some MCU movies that are better than it now, and I can't do that. That's not fair. You know what I mean? Yeah. That movie's better than 4 stars.
It's definitely a 3.5 for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely 4.1.
Just don't put it above 7. Like you just can't ever fucking do that.
No, it's still like at 7. It's still at 7 for me on my top 10. That's really funny. But like, it's just not fair to like judge it after the fact because it's like that was the first one, and it still is a good story and everything. But like, like Incredible Hulk. This is where I'm at now. Incredible Hulk. Energy-free movie. That's what that's how I would describe that. Where's the energy in that movie? Everybody went to fucking sleep for that movie. But still, the movie made sense, and the Hulk action is what you want to see anyway. So, I mean, it gives you that at least. But yeah, Iron Man 2 is shittily written, dude. I just can't even... I can't believe like I was such an apologist for every MCU movie, and now it's kind of like, take a step back, Jeff. Let's see what's really happening here.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense.
It was just rushed. I mean, I think they really wanted to get that universe going.
Dude. There were so many allusions to like Thor and Cap already in the movie.
Yeah.
And obviously Black Widow's in it. But they were clearly trying to like be like, all right, guys, Avengers in like 2 years, so we gotta fucking
we gotta hurry the fuck up.
Anyway, that's where I'm at in my MCU rewatch after Endgame. It's got me in a mood. So the fucking funeral was beautifully shot too in this movie.
Oh yeah, showed every group.
I love that. I love that. The single take. I imagine that was probably took a whole day of shooting, or maybe there was a lot of CG'd people in there. I bet
Probably,
I can't make it just CGI me.
Yeah, right.
I'll Skype
you just send us a picture of me, like in a black suit, and you could just put me in there.
But I would think the weight of that scene would demand everybody be there and like be like, say goodbye to this character.
I would definitely hope so. I would hope so.
Yeah. Even they got the fucking kid from the Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah. Remember that movie, guys?
Yeah, I remember that kid. Remember him? And he's just standing there at the very back behind the Guardians. And at first I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I honestly had no idea who it was until you just said that.
No, I had to look it up. I immediately when I got home, I looked that up, and people had already asked the question, and they had already confirmed that it was that kid.
I honestly didn't even look it up the first time I watched it. I was just like, I don't know who the fuck that was. I assumed that was an extra, and it just moved on to the next person. So like, I watched it again, and I was like, oh, the face. That's the kid from the fucking Iron Man 3 movie. Like, it clicked for me in the theater. Should he have been a little bit older looking? Probably after like. What, that came out in 2013? It would have been 10 years. It would have been 10 years since that came out, so you should have maybe looked a little bit older than like 15, but, whatever, that's fine.
I think that is probably, if you're going to, like, criticize one thing about the movie, the 5-year time jump, nobody looked 5 years older.
No.
Except for, like, maybe
But, like, they're all in their third, like, do you really look 5 years
older?
Well,
but I'm talking about, like, because we don't know whether Ned, Peter's friend, got snapped or not, but the way that scene read...
Oh, yeah, no, that scene...
was that Ned was around and missed Peter, but Ned was still, like, 15.
Honestly, 14, that's Kyle and I. That's our biggest problem with the movie.
I have a major problem that's not so major at all, to be honest.
It's not major. It's just something that I guess they just decided, hey, we're not going to bother to really dive into this one way or another, and it's probably better to take that approach.
They should have just left it out of the movie.
Really, they should have. They didn't. And even then, like the next movie, they're in high school still, and they didn't age. So Peter Parker's still the age of a high schooler would need to go to high school. So did the whole cast. The whole cast
was the whole cast snapped or something?
It was 100% snap rate, like at that whole school, unluckiest school ever.
But the school next door was all fine.
Yeah, but everybody at the other school across town all live lives. They're all fine.
It could be one of those things that is kind of like a joke explanation, kind of like how we were all like, how the fuck is Ant-Man going to get out of the quantum realm? And it's like, oh, it's a rat.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Again, I guess we're gonna have to just like surrender to some of these, like oh, okay, well, yeah, just weird things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Random ass things happen in this universe.
I mean, what if Home or Far From Home is a movie that's in one of these like branched realities that we got too? We don't really know.
That would be cool because they've been explicitly saying it's not. It doesn't happen before Endgame. That's what they've been explicitly saying.
It's not a prequel.
So they could be like, it happens concurrently or something like that.
Because it could be like whatever happened with the snap brought the... What are they called? The Elementals? Gyllenhaal's?
Yeah, the Elementals, that's right.
Yeah. So, what if it's explained away like that? That's fine. But we won't know until we get there. So, and for now, it's a big old question mark.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that. And I do feel like somebody asked me that hadn't seen Endgame yet. It's like, so how does this make? Does it make Spider-Man feel like it's going to be like a movie that matters, or it's going to feel more like Ant-Man and the Wasp? And I was kind of like, it feels more like it's going to be like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, big time.
We're going to get this palate cleanser of a movie after this tear fest. And don't get me wrong, I feel like Tom Holland is still going to bring a lot of emotional weight to the movie.
Sure.
And there's probably going to be moments where he breaks down and I'm like, don't you dare say Tony Stark's name, you motherfucker.
Or like he'll see something in the middle of
the big monuments to Tony Stark or whatever.
Or a news story or something.
He's going to be telling Tony Stark's headstone his fucking story, and I'm not ready for it.
Oh, God.
Can I tell you the other part I really cried hard at? When Happy told Morgan that he would buy all the cheeseburgers.
Get you all the cheeseburgers you want.
Get all the cheeseburgers you want. I'm like,
Dad like cheeseburgers.
I hate you so much right now.
Right. Yeah. I'm also looking at that like, thank you, John Favreau.
Yeah, and that's another why I wanted to bring it up. It all started with him, and like you get that like kind of end scene where it's just like he's kind of
Yeah,
he's still there.
It's like he's gonna take care of us going forward. Like we're gonna get some more cheeseburgers.
Don't worry, kids. Everyone's gonna get enough cheeseburgers. Don't worry.
Yeah. So there's definitely that homage to him as a director, and then there's that homage to like that's how Tony came back. Technically reborn from the desert was like the first thing he asked for was a cheeseburger, and then he was like, and then we're going to schedule a press conference, but cheeseburger first.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good callback. I did not.
Yeah.
I would.
He improvised that shit. That's
totally
funny.
Like
that became a staple like scene in a tearjerker of a moment in Endgame, and fucking Downey Jr. made that. I mean, there was technically no script on Iron Man, is what I hear, but. Downey Jr. made that moment up. Like, I want a cheeseburger and also a press conference. But cheeseburger first. He made that shit up, and then they had to like have him have a cheeseburger at the fucking press conference.
Right. He was eating one. He was sitting down and eating, and everyone was waiting on him to talk. Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah.
Never said goodbye to my dad, and like it's like all casual and like. I just watched it. Sorry.
Yeah. He asked everybody else to sit with him. He's like, everyone sit down.
Let's just get on the same level here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great moment. Oh, man. And by the way, Downey Jr. or Stark calling Thor Lebowski. Hey, Jeff Bridges was your first villain. What's going on,
yes.
buddy?
Yeah, that was
right.
Cool. Yeah, that was cool.
What world do we live in? Fucking Jebba Dubba Odabba Dabba Deeba Dooba,
like,
whatever.
All the time travel
Whatever his
movies they
name
mention,
is.
I was like, I bet you one Marvel person is like in those fucking movies. Like every person in that room is probably in one of those movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Fury's in Star Wars, and Spider-Man always brings up Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's just funny to think of, like, how does that work? Oh man, that guy really looks like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
It's just something that I think of in terms of meta. Anyway.
Hey, Kevin Bacon is retroactively a part of the Marvel universe because he was a bad guy in one of the X-Men movies.
No,
and they talk about Footloose a lot. Okay.
He was, but he still needs to be in the MCU because I didn't like that he was killed in First Class. He should have been around a lot longer.
Yeah, he should have. He was cool.
Yeah.
Hey, remember when that series used to be good, and that was like the only one, and it just kind of went downhill from there?
Yeah, they were like, oh my god, so much promise here. Thank you, Matthew Vaughn. And then
and Matthew Vaughn left, and they're like, we don't know what we're doing.
Back to not knowing what we're doing, everybody. Where's that child molester? Can we get him as a director again?
Yeah, he really knocked it out of the park the first time.
Hey, you know what we really need? We need that Dark Phoenix again for the second time in a decade. Let's do it.
Dark Phoenix, hashtag again.
Yeah, exactly. The funeral was really tender and delicately handled, and very much a waterfalls moment in terms of.
Gamora's not there because she doesn't know any of these people, so everyone can stop asking them.
Yeah, everybody's kind of theorizing like, was she snapped, and I feel like the answer is obviously no because Star-Lord's on the ship later.
They're searching for her. Yeah,
and it says missing. Exactly. If she was dusted with Stark's snap. Which we still don't know technically the full implications of the snap. Like, did he literally just get rid of that army from all existence, and that's it?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, they don't really explain it, but like, remember, in her heart of hearts, she's like betraying Thanos. You know what I mean? So it's like she's not part of his army any longer.
No.
I think she's just
he saw her on the battlefield fighting with them. So I mean.
I think she's just out there trying to reconcile because she's in the future. Like, this is way, way ahead.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot to come to grips with.
So yeah, she's got a lot.
But she's gonna lead, and Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna be about like finding her and not reminding her, but letting her know of who she was in this timeline and all that. Yeah.
Thor better be in that fucking movie.
Thor better be in that goddamn movie.
As Guardians of the Galaxy is the greatest fucking idea ever. I want Korg. I want Meep. I want the whole fucking
Korg
group.
And Meep needs to be in that shit so bad.
Like, just Rocket, Groot, Thor, buddy cop comedy. I don't care. Give it to me.
And then Waititi and Gunn both fucking direct, like co-direct.
God.
Oh,
or at least write together because like
they mesh so well.
Taika plays Korg, so like he'll be there anyway. You know.
Hey man. Yeah. I'm in this movie. Yeah,
hey man, this online troll's talking to me again.
Hey.
Let me see that. Let me see the. I am Thor. I will come to your house and
shoot lightning up your butt.
Yeah, that was great. If we don't get that as Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and if there's like some throwaway in the beginning where it's like Thor had to go to Burkaskurpa to go look at something, I'll
go find himself.
I will walk out of the theater. Not really, I won't. But
I was traveling a planet.
I will verbally go, "Oh man!"
I found this thing called the 24-hour fitness, and so I'm going to go there for the whole movie.
And James Gunn's like, I don't know what to do with that guy, so I just wrote him out. It's like, fuck off, dude! Like, what?
Like the same dude, same guy.
You do it.
Same guy as your Guardians. That whole back and forth, and I love how long it lingered on that scene with Thor and Star-Lord.
Knife fight.
Who's in charge?
They're like,
Yeah, if you guys don't want to use blasters, we have guns or knives. Yeah, that was. Of course, it was Mantis saying that shit too.
Yeah, right.
That's her one line in the whole movie.
The girl with the antenna, she's gone too. I had family.
Yeah. Was that Rocket that said that?
Yeah.
He doesn't even know his name.
Drax, Gamora, Quill, the lady with the antennas.
Yeah.
I loved Rocket's comedy in this. Like going back, like raise your hand if you've been in space.
Don't throw up.
All right, if any of you throw up in my ship, don't do it.
Yeah.
Who is he really excited? He's like, you want to go to space, little doggy? You want to go to space? Like, was you at the Ant-Man or?
Yeah, it was Ant-Man. Yeah. We glossed over the taco scene.
The
taco
that was really
scene
is so important to the movie. It adds
so sweet,
so much to the themes and just No, that was great comedy though.
Yeah.
They're pulling up in the ship and like just all the innards just fly out.
Right. Oh, I love the
Classic shit. That's classic comedy, dude.
That's good stuff, man.
It's like there's a weird guy outside of the Avengers thing. She's like, hey, I get emails from a raccoon. Okay,
nothing's weird anymore.
Nothing's weird anymore.
Honest to God, I thought for a second you were a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Until that moment, I really thought you were a Build-A-Bear. God, that got me. So
you're right,
good.
though. Yeah, I didn't notice the first viewing. I think I was not noticing a lot because I was preoccupied. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But when at the beginning when Nebula and Rocket like hold hands, and Nebula known for being like very cold and stuff, and Rocket same. Dude. The waterworks could have started early for a lot of people in that movie.
It did for me, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yay! We all feel things. Men who cry. That's the name of our podcast.
Yeah,
now.
seriously. Like there should be a group of people that are like, "So did you cry?" And anybody that says no, it's like, flagged as a sociopath. Get the fuck over here.
Yeah, right.
We
We put you on Sociopath Island now.
Yeah.
AKA Florida that we annex in the United
Right.
States.
Yes. Or it's about to break off or something.
Well, that's what we annex it and then break it off like
Like,
Steve LA style.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be dope.
Okay, so the thing that I have questions on, Rogers going back in time, returning the sun, not just returning the Soul Stone. I didn't think about that until this podcast. Don't know how the fuck he's going to do that and just be like, boop, and then be like, there's no Red Skull. I don't see anybody here.
Right.
Good luck. He could have just died there. That would be funny. But so basically, we take their time travel rules as Captain America travels back in time, stays there, so Captain America ceases to exist in the present.
Right.
At all.
Right.
And
so he just takes the Tesseract back last and stays there.
Yeah, he takes the Tesseract back last. Well, hold on. I thought I read somewhere that he decided to go back even because she looked younger than she did in the 70s in the final shot of the movie.
I think it goes back. I think it goes back to get.
And the cars
his dance.
were older.
I think it goes back to that day, like to get his dance. I think that was he made for his dance.
Okay.
God damn it!
So while she would be at the house, like crying, because like, oh my God, he's dead. He shows up that day to collect his dance or whatever, and it's
I think they purposefully showed us like these are some really fucking old cars, so you kind of know like what. Yeah. Kind of get a sense for what year it is, 40s or 50s. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, so like, was he? So he was always married to her, basically, and
I think you're the one who just convinced me of this, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, because they straight up said you can't change that. Nebula, I think, or somebody said it like when you go back now, that is the past is now your future because it's from your perspective. So,
and the fact that she understood Hulk speak for that when he was like. To me, not making sense. Where it's like the past becomes present becomes future, and future present future, and Nebula's like exactly, and I was like, oh, it's play for laughs. I gotta read it in writing to understand what the fuck he just said.
Right.
But what the gist I got was you can't change it. You just can't change it. It's what's happening. What's happening in real time for you, and
he, he knew how to get back there at the exact right moment when they were there.
That's a good point. He knows the date. So and he mentioned like so
that means that like old man Rogers is just casually watching all this Infinity War from like his nursing home.
Yeah, he knows his young self has it. He's like, I'm good.
We did it. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I love the idea that old man Cap is just.
And I love the idea that he's like he knows when to stroll in on the on that bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, was he sitting over there the whole time?
Yeah. He's like watching like from bushes, like kneeling. And I like
1, 2, 3, go.
And I like that Bucky and Steve knew this. Like Steve shared this with Bucky because you just get that sense from "Gonna miss you, buddy." And when Buck is telling Sam to go talk to Cap, it's kind of
the one who points over there first. He's like, "Hey, Sam."
Yeah. Get over there, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Get on over there and talk to that guy.
That scene where him giving over to Sam is the best possible option. I'm gonna be honest. And I know that they're gonna do a show together, him and Bucky, but like, I wish there was a movie, dude, because some of those comics are like profoundly, like almost too real. You know?
Maybe we'll get one. There has to be a Black Captain America movie, man.
There has to be, yeah.
You have this thing in this era of diversity, like it's got to happen.
I think they're putting it on Disney+.
I think the show is going to stay Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we're going to get a Black Captain America movie.
Yeah, I think Falcon, maybe Falcon Winter Soldier is like origin. And then Captain America, Sam Rogers, which is the name of the comic, is like, or Sam Wilson is like, is the like the first movie, and he is Cap, you know, but he's still dealing with backlash for taking up the mantle. Like he's still reluctant, even though Steve is gone and retired.
Right.
He's still reluctant. He doesn't want to take up the shield. He still wants to be Falcon. And then like the end of the series is, and it's like a miniseries. End of the series is him going, okay, I'm going to be Cap now.
Yeah, he puts on the outfit and all that stuff.
I don't want to see him be Cap in the fucking series. You know what I mean? That's a movie thing. You know, like I really want to see him do it in the movie. Shit. But yeah,
I think that's how it's gonna go. I think what you want is what we're gonna get.
Oh, thank goodness! I would hope so.
I just
think like the stories are like from those comics where like everybody, you know, you have news pundits and stuff like
not
like
my Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. They're all saying like not my Captain America because of there's a racial like undertone to everything they're saying about him, and he's fighting for not just that, but to like try and even fight crime. It's a challenge for him. Because there's like people like doing protests and stuff like that, and there's one. I think there's one in like Civil War II, that arc. There's like one where like he's invited to a protest, but he doesn't know if he should show up. But he wants to show up to keep the peace, but he doesn't think that him showing up will be taken as he wants to keep the peace. It'll probably be taken as on picking a side. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a Black Lives Matter protest or whatever, and he's like, oh, the media's going to take it as me showing up and taking one side instead of being there to defend people. There's just like, dude, there's a fucking like giant well of stories to explore and themes that can like really touch on some serious stuff that's going on in the world right now. If you do a Sam Wilson movie, like it's so perfect. I'm so glad we didn't get Bucky Cap because that dude has gone through some shit. And who's to say there's not still some screws loose up in there? I'm sorry, I don't mean to doubt like Wakandan.
I trust Shuri.
Yeah, she's definitely trustworthy in the science department, especially.
But that's too convenient of a plot thing to them to not have them like kind of leverage it again a little bit later.
And I'm sure we'll get more context on like what Buck knew and stuff like that. In the series, like how the conversation that he had with Steve and stuff like that.
Right.
That was a great ending, though. That was a perfect ending for, Thor. I'm glad they're not done with him yet because they realize, that
he just arrived.
Yeah, exactly. Still got a hot hand with Thor. Hawkeye is effectively pretty much retired. We could see his daughter come into play much later. But I like the idea that he already had a family there, so we don't really need an explanation for his absence.
Right.
Who else is there? I'm thinking of. There's 6 people, right? Hulk. Hulk technically could be done, but he could be one of those background players that shows up occasionally, like at a Avengers facility, to be like, I figured this thing out, guys. Come take a look or whatever.
He's basically
he's designated smart guy on Earth now.
Yeah.
Iron Man's dead, so like he's there's no Reed Richards or anything. So for sure, she's still kind of smart.
They opened up the borders or whatever.
And we got to get them two like in a room together doing sciencey stuff, so that'd be fun.
Dude, because they only had that one interaction about like Vision, and like she's like, why didn't you create him this way? And he's like, I didn't think of that.
I like that.
So I agree. That would be cool. I just don't know what a team up movie. They're just gonna have maybe it's the Skrulls. Maybe it's a secret invasion that they're gonna. That's why they included them in the Captain Marvel movie and left it as their good guys now. I don't know, man. It's just who's going to be the big threat now. It's just crazy to think of an Avengers game after this, or Avengers movie after this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they'll find. They've already alluded to like Adam Warlock, I think, in Guardians.
Yeah, he's supposed to be quote unquote Guardians 3 villain, as the post-credit scene alluded to. Like, Aisha's building him, right? Creating him to end the Guardians.
Right.
But he ends up being a good guy, So like, and he's like way more powerful than even like Captain Marvel. So it's like introducing this.
He ends up being the main guardian of the stones because he's that powerful enough to thwart anybody that challenges the stones. Mm-hmm. Like he is just one of the most powerful dudes. Period.
He is, yeah. So, like, what bad guy do you introduce that is on his level? You know,
it feels like Skrulls could be like the most interesting thing in terms of like this whole time we've had heroes that are Skrulls. You know, like that could be an interesting thing post Endgame. I just hope people aren't like too put off by that because Captain Marvel did a lot of the body swapping stuff throughout the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I just don't. I love that it's a giant question mark, though. I mean, we kind of know what to expect with Far From Home, but in terms of the general future of MCU, it's kind of like...
It feels weird to not have a roadmap, but it feels a little bit liberating. Yeah, you know?
It does.
Well, and if it's mostly all cosmic and we kind of leave all these Earth stuff behind for a bit,
sounds like that's... Eternals, so yeah.
That might, it might be completely different, which maybe the shakeup, like the whole genre needs, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I agree. So, this movie's fucking great. It's the first one I gave 5 out of 5 from the MCU because there's always something. Movie. There's always something like in terms of MCU movies. There's always like something that like kind of keeps it just a fun MCU movie, And you're like, oh, it's not like an achievement in film or whatever. So, there's kind of like that part of me that holds it back. But I feel like there's so much technically speaking that's
this one had that well
cinematic.
Big moment, like
and the Russo brothers say they're done for now. So there's always room for them to come back. But
I mean, I think they want to give other directors an opportunity to breathe and see what they can do with it.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
I'll watch any movie they're doing, even this 21 Bridges movie. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right. They're producing with Chadwick Boseman as a cop who'd done wrong or whatever or something.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
I'll watch any of their movies.
Yeah, a lot of drugs and cocaine in that movie. So all about that. I love Chadwick Boseman, Chapstick Boseman.
Chapstick Boseman.
Wow.
So that's our Endgame more or less recap. But I mean, honestly, we had to go over it. More or less chronologically with some, kind of random thoughts in between because there's so much fucking cool shit to go
through. There's a lot to go on,
and the fact that we didn't hit 3 hours is a miracle to me.
We didn't.
We went long, but still 3 hours was like... Movie demands it. Demands your respect, everybody. And time. So yeah, I loved it. I loved getting up, not having to stay for the post-credits. That was great.
That was great.
That was a great feeling, and I didn't care that everybody looked at me weird.
The whole theater sat there, and I was like, I don't give a fuck, you weirdos.
I just gave him a finger all the way down.
Yeah. So I made like very intense eye contact. So. And here in Colorado, that's a really dangerous move in a theater.
Oh yeah, especially late at night. Yeah.
Especially if you take the exit that's like next to the.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I took the fire exit, so like me and Andrew were like scaling the back of Cinemark when we left. Because we didn't even go down the one that's intended to be an exit. We went out the fire escape.
Weirdos.
It's very awkward. But hey, we parked right there, so it was like actually perfect.
This is our I think collectively on our top 10 whatever you want to call it ranked movies for 2019. This is number 1 easily.
Yeah. It's my first 5-star of the year. So
exactly right.
We finally
I haven't even given a 4.5 out yet. So yeah.
Damn, dude! Wow.
I gave a 4.5 to the Donald Glover Rihanna movie. That was fucking.
I haven't seen it
yet.
I haven't seen it yet. So.
That shit was incredible,
dude. That reimagining of This Is America.
Brilliant, right? It's like played for laughs. Yeah, it's so fucking great.
Incredible.
Oh man, that dude is a genius.
We don't deserve him.
No, not at all.
No, not in the slightest.
So
but
glad Thanos doesn't exist for real, so he wasn't snapped or anything.
Right.
That and like I ended up giving Climax 4.5 too. The more I thought about it, just for
that might go up the more the year goes on. It just kind of depends on how much my mind.
But it's not a Universal movie for sure. So,
I love that. I think that movie's fantastic.
Same here. But everything else has been like 4 stars or less, and those typically don't end up in my top 10 at the end of the year. Most of the time it's 4.5 or more.
4.5 or above, yeah.
And I'm at 40-something movies now for this year, so like what the fuck, 2019. It's a little insane that I'm kind of like...
2015.
I'm just now confident that my number 1 is Endgame, and it deserves to be there. Whereas like before Endgame, it was kind of like, I don't know, swap out Climax maybe, put Guava Island there, I don't know. Guava Island feels like a cheat. It's like 53 minutes.
Yeah, right.
It's not fair. Oh, man. Dude could have put in more songs and made it longer. Fucker.
Could have. Bastard. Would have been dope.
It's fine, though. The music is really dope, though, and I love how eclectic it is. It's like each song has its own its own vibe to it. It's not.
Yeah, I love the animation at the beginning too.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
How Donald Glover, the way he moves, the way he walks and runs, is exactly like the way that the goofy ass animation is with his character in the short in the beginning. It's funny to me.
Oh, there's the start recording option on Skype. It wasn't showing for me earlier. I found it. Anyway, so we haven't been recording at all. No, I'm just kidding. So stay tuned for our next episode where we talk about 2009 movies, and that is the year of Best Picture winner The Hurt Locker, which is Kyle's favorite movie. I can't wait to talk about it.
My favorite movie ever. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Endgame is more accurate than Hurt Locker. So...
Yeah, I mean, I echo all of that.
I mean, quantum physicists say that's probably how time travel would work. You wouldn't be able to change anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if they said time travel was a thing, they would be like, you can't change anything though. Everything that's gonna happen is just happened.
It's already happened.
Yeah.
Past is written.
Anyway, so that's coming up in the future, and then whatever happens after that, it's just whatever we have time for. I work overnights and go to school, and you guys work day schedules like normal people.
Yeah.
So that's why there's been long breaks between episodes and stuff. So sorry everybody, but whatever.
Get it.
Go find us on Twitter at EoCPod, and find us on Apple Podcasts, and I think I don't know if we're on Spotify. I don't know how SoundCloud feeds. I don't know how SoundCloud does that. I thought I saw us on Spotify once, but I can't be too certain. But that's one place I want to put us, so let's look out for that. Also, Stitcher and shit like that, the usual places you get your podcasting needs. Go there. And, so Kyle, you doing anything for subculture these days, or is it just
haven't in a while, but we'll be doing podcasts soon, so stay tuned for podcasts over there.
She's still got to do part 3 of the best.
Yes, absolutely. It doesn't matter. I'm not in that episode, so it doesn't matter. So.
Oh, that's right, because you were unrightfully fucking. Because nobody listened to what you were saying about Red Dead. Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
No. They honed in on all the wrong words.
Yeah. So. Has to work for it. Oh, that thing you said 20 minutes ago that after before you said all those details about the game. Oh yeah, sure.
That was the best orchestrated argument I've ever made for that game ever. And
yes,
whenever it was met with such a reductive response, I was like, boy, this has really ripped my heart out.
And you're like, oh, never mind, didn't listen.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah.
Anyway, so JD, you're still butt doctoring, but you're probably about to be the king of napping, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna go get some wangs, and then take a nap. That's probably what I'm gonna do. Before I get back to butt doctoring. Yeah.
Just to follow up on the Spotify thing. Yeah, we're not on there yet, but that's the goal. That's the goal, is to get there, I guess.
We'll get there.
We'll get that Spotify money. Wait, we getting money for anything?
I don't know.
No.
I've been getting paid.
I haven't been getting fucking shit.
Jesus.
Anyway, so thanks for listening, everybody, and stay tuned for the 2009 movies tournament. We're gonna get back to the tournaments. Yay! We just had to do an Endgame episode because it's literally
just
the only thing we've been able to think about for fucking 2 days.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that it's just the biggest movie that's come out this year
ever.
I mean, one of the biggest ones ever for sure. But Rise of Skywalker's coming out this year too, so that's going to be a big one. But
some of us had that hyped appropriately at number 1, and might be wrong about it where it ends in the year, but still, yeah, whatever.
That is correct. Good luck putting 5 stars on that one, boys.
Hey, you never know. Just depends on how bad they retcon the rainbow
could really pull out a quick one. So
he could. I reassessed Star Trek as part of 2009, and that's better than I remember it. Each time I watch it, it's kind of these are really fucking good. What the fuck, man? Just don't give them their due. And so it's definitely in my 10. So JJ could pull it off, but in terms of oh man, it's a whole different kind of conclusion though. So it's not so much a culmination of 20-something movies and team ups that you've never seen before.
Yeah, totally different.
Yeah. But I was right. Anyway, so
we don't know. We don't know. You're probably right, but
All right.
But one thing's for sure. Right now, it's your number 1 most hyped movie that's going to come out, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was my number.
Yeah. So, okay. All right.
God damn it. All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. Happy Sunday.